Hey, what's up? We're live. Welcome, everyone. This is the Stillfleet Studio stream. I'm Wythe Marshall, and we're here today with a very special, extra special part two finale of a long running campaign, which maybe, spoiler, will be reborn shortly. But for now, this is the ending of this big arc. The campaign is NARM. The setting is an ultrastructure deep in the void, and we have our intrepid void miners who are left on the space station, the Godown, and need to maybe go somewhere else. Thanks to everyone who's playing. We have multiple jams, multiple players, and we will do, I think, intros to characters as we enter the action in Medias Race. With that, we have a very brief prologue flashback. Jesse, do you want to take it away?
Yes. So about a week ago, Drumming Grown Renter, the refractor of this team, for some of the time they've been here, from the subcommittee of void mining, NARM desk, made their quarterly report to the archive on a routine visit to Spindle. As it pleases the archive, following the advice of senior archivist Majul Amago, a number of projects have been suspended due to the re-emergence of late Tephnian conflicts of geometry. A tenuous alliance has been struck with Irgazul, the wild crab, stationed by the Grey Pyramid with Massbreaker, which he describes as a singularly designed to destroy a figurehead of the Red Pyramid, should such be present in NARM. City of Scales, Meta Mothers, Behemoth Father, and others are being consolidated to support this effort to remove the Red Duke. In the event of direct threat to the Godown, Amago is authorized to evacuate non-essential personnel. To follow anticipated success of the current maneuver, the following projects will resume. In the green ring, survey the City of Scales, monitoring for GPF Varng 08. In the red ring, survey the City of Knots. In the bright ring, lash expeditions, recovery of the Aegis of Vard, viral scrubbing on coffee is for closers. In the dark ring, none. In the quiet ring, none. In the vast ring, none. In the beyond ring, survey of the superimposed forest, recovery of the Embactors research, essay of Escher climates near Night Mother, second contact with chitonauts. There's a note that Drumming Grown Renter says there was a lot of questioning. It went on for about 30 hours. Second memo. Change of plans, apparently. Nettle Shield has informed me that the Godown has been evacuated, save half a dozen void miners. The Grey Pyramid's super weapon was insufficient. The Red Duke seems dead, but nonetheless seeks the baleful core and will incorporate the stiffworks within hours. Wraiths aligned with the Red Pyramid are about to destroy the Godown. Nettle Shield believes the Banshee of the Embactors, Vatex, has prepared architect that will detack the baleful core. As I cross the corridor, I am hearing the sounds of fighting amongst the void miners still here.
Those sounds of fighting are starting to quiet down now as Drumming Grown Renter has commanded the fighting to stop. But in the last few seconds, what you have seen is that two of your comrades have unexpectedly, or at least unexpectedly to some, taken it upon themselves to attack the Banshee known as Rooster and kill her. And in the ensuing fighting, one of the void miners, Alex Normal Human, was killed. We find ourselves just seconds after this conflict has been resolved primarily by the success of this assassination attempt. That turned out to be only partially successful, as the the Godown senior Banshee, Ezekiel, appears to have unfolded into some sort of unknown substance and assimilated part of the remaining nanites from Rooster's nanite disease, and has reconstituted as a similar person in appearance, although with clear markings of that sort of nanite integration. And as this happens, there is a scream of metal as fingers a meter long rip into the skin of the Godown behind you, and you get a brief glimpse of an eyeless face sort of leering at you through a doorway before the emergency doors close to protect the environment and protect the air from escaping. But you see the hatch locked down automatically, and you can feel the shrieks shuddering through the Godown as the module on the other side of the door is torn away, which is unfortunately the module where the shuttles had been docked. The two friendly shuttles, Nettleshield and Consort. So we find ourselves in the middle of it. The new person that is in the center of the room, sort of taller than Zeke was by a little bit, with clear red cybernetic markings on their right side, looks around and says, "All right, well, I guess we're going. So here's the plan. We've got two things we've got to do. The first thing is, those of you who want to come to the Baleful Core with me and push the big red button, you're on my team. If you want to deal with whatever the fuck that was, you're on Nettleshield, and, well, you're not on your own, but mostly on your own. So everybody, you've got about 30 seconds to go figure out what it is you want to grab before we get out of here, and then we're going. What would you all like to do? I'd like to ask you to, essentially, you have a brief moment in time to do essentially one thing before you leave the Godown, and then you need to make a decision about which shuttle you're going to head for. If you want to come to the core to deploy the Veil, you're on Consort. If you want to deal with the Wraith incursion or find a way to survive this situation, you're on Nettleshield. So who would like to go first?
I can jump in. I think we lost. And they're back. Okay. Rochella, the Void Pilgrim, kind of stands up, dusts himself off. He didn't get knocked down or anything. He'd just been sitting there meditating until about 10 seconds ago. And he is, you see before you, same guy as ever, a lichenoid guy, with kind of a mushroom head from a faraway planet. He's technically the ship's therapist. He just unlocked functional empathy from a vision quest. And so, maybe not the best therapist, but he's the one you've got. Yeah, he says, "All right, I'll stick around here for a moment, see if I can't have words with this war machine. Maybe we can reach a peaceable, you know what? We'll figure it out."
I just want to be clear. You don't have time to have words with that war machine. That war machine is going to tear you limb from limb in the next few seconds. So either you're going to move and get on one of the shuttles, or you're going to get torn apart when this thing explosively decompresses. So which is it?
I suppose I can always try and have words with him from the ship.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I take it from that you're Team Nettleshield.
I think I am.
All right, fantastic. So I assume that Rochella begins a unconcerned saunter in the direction that this new person is indicating. They seem to be not entirely doing something by apparently instinct. They seem to sort of be listening with one ear to something that isn't just the shrieking of metal as the Godown. Clearly, you hear multiple impacts on different ends of the station, and they point out to you which direction to head to one of the modules and send you in that direction. Who's next?
I will also go to whatever that thing was. I prefer to shoot the devil I've seen than the devil I've not. So, these words said by Cecil, human Razi blooder. So you can tell by his outfit that his skills are mainly shooting things. But yeah, at least on the same order of magnitude of his own size. So he's not having a great day fighting these nebulous dangers that are creeping closer at incredible speeds. Also, last time I forgot to mention the nootropic Chaos Toddler overalls he was wearing, so I'm making good for that.
As you head after Richella, this person who used to be Zeke grabs your arm and says, "And Cecil, do me a favor. Take that one with you. I don't want him anywhere near me." And they point at Falling Booch Gainer.
Falling, are you coming?
Falling Breach Gainer, of course, a weight in many limbed, currently very tied up, very weak as they have just used most of their energy to attempt to kill Rooster, and that seemed to not exactly work. So there's probably a lot of goo coming out of various holes in their body as they're being led by Cecil, silently just nodding.
And
Okay.
on the subject of goo, Hal, who is a sort of AI, a security AI program, Hal Monitor, who's based in a watch, is currently based on a coffee droid provided by Cecil that's covered in oozing algae that's just coming out of the watch. It's just constantly oozing. It's fluorescing, very bright teal. This is radiotrophic algae, and it's just really being over-energized by all of the radiation here. And this sort of jittery coffee droid based AI says, "Okay, see, let's finish this. We're going to the core. We're going to the core. Let's go." And starts trundling erratically towards Consort.
Fantastic. I think they kind of have to, in a very friendly way, they kind of give you like a little bit of a like push kick in the right direction because the thing is sort of staggering a little bit. So they just sort of kick you back into balance and point you down the module in the right direction. Mike.
This is difficult, but I think Mike will be going on Nettle Shield because if they're going to be trying to stop the wave, it might buy some more time. Mike is a human conscript tremulant. His contact with the weird has caused his skin to bubble in some strange ways, and yeah, he's grabbing his bike as he runs towards the Nettle Shield. Can't forget this.
Now,
Okay.
Mike, were you looking to stay in NARM for the long haul?
I feel like if I don't, home will be gone. Like,
Good man. Slaps you on the back.
all right, here we go. We can do this. We can do this.
Okay. Team Nettle Shield. So that's Richella, Cecil, Falling Bridge Gainer, and Mike. Is there any last action you would like to take? Again, this is a quick action, something you want to grab, anything that you want to do before you leave the Godown, as you are now perhaps spurred on by the station moving beneath your feet as you can feel. I think as you are running by one of these doorways, you see another module just get ripped off. This is Amago's lab. The entrance just gets pulled away, and you see another one of these like faceless, vaguely humanoid, sort of almost like a harpy, some kind of massive creature looking in at you. Again, just before the shielding takes over, you get the feeling that you should probably hurry. But if you want to grab something besides, I'm going to assume that you grab some envirosuits or are able to grab those. Is there anything else you want to do as you are running in the corridor that you've been directed down?
No, I've been here long enough. Time to leave.
As I walk past my cubicle in the lab stations, I just casually grab a mysterious jar full of hard caramel candies.
Okay.
You might remember it.
Falling Bridge Gainer or Mike, you said you grabbed your what did you say?
Mike grabbed his velocipede, or as he likes to call it, his bicycle.
Amazing. Falling Bridge Gainer, anything you want to do or grab before you leave the Godown?
No, just along for the ride.
Okay. As you are moving quickly, you come basically to the end of of one of these corridors. This is the one that you were pointed down. You know that this just ends in a dead end. And you come to the end of the corridor, and you are standing there for a second, looking around. And very suddenly, the end of this end of the corridor again just gets ripped away, as with a shriek of metal, you're all pulled out into space for a few brief seconds before you see a flash of some sort of strange shifting shape that appears to just envelop around you as Nettleshield, diving around one of these creatures that's coming after it, just essentially like a cell incorporating you into itself, and you find yourselves tumbling into the familiar central room of the Nettleshield that has taken many of you on many adventures in the past. We'll come back to you in a second. At the moment, Team Consort is just Hal and Zeke, or the person that used to be Zeke. Hal, anything you want to do or grab or anything before we leave the Godown?
No, I think Hal is just barreling towards the ship as quickly as this flawed and quickly degenerating due to the algae chassis will allow.
Okay, amazing. As we are going, we're going to pass something that's sat in the corridor, and I think this is probably has been left in the jump jungle, brought through by Falling Brooch Gainer when they came back to the Godown. You see kind of kneeling down in a corner with a few too many limbs is your Zorse body, clearly having gone feral during its time in the City of Scales. A bit gooey, a bit misshapen, but recognizably your old body.
Okay, well, in which case Hal will say, Zeke, can you do the honors of putting me on my previous steed?
They kind of look around. Fine, okay, yeah, and they unstrap you from the coffee making machine, which sort of collapses back into, I'm imagining, some sort of like Starbucks barista shape that you had unfolded it from, and puts you onto the Zorse. Why don't you make a quick reason check for me, just to see how well you can pilot this strange and strangely mutated new version as you are heading towards Consort, with Akil as well coming with us.
Sorry, that's a 4 on the D12 there.
Okay. You connect to the Zorse, sort of tapping into its circuitry and to its familiar shape, which you were still kind of getting the hang of at the time that you were kind of getting better at it, but you were still learning how to have legs. You now have more legs. So that is something that you weren't really expecting. You catapult yourself uncomfortably sideways, and it takes you a second or two to get back to your feet. The person formerly known as Zeke is going to help you to your feet and just like pats you comfortingly on the shoulder and goes, "It's okay. Just wait here for a second. Our ride's coming." And a second later hits one of the openings on the side of the Godown. And you just step through. You can see basically Consort pulling up to this open doorway that essentially was designed to open into another module, but just never had anything connected to it. And the hatch opens, and you see kind of Consort making a connection with the Godown as the door opens, and with help, you are able to sort of stumble through into the interior of the shuttle. There's a whole bunch of like various stuff around here. Possibly, I think maybe a few people had been trying to move things around on Consort, and somehow a few crates got left here on this ship. Who knows where it's come from? Was it in the supplies on the Godown? Was it something that Rooster and Akil had brought from Deep NARM? I guess we're about to find out. Laura, would you like to describe what Akil and Zeke and Hal see as one of the crates opens?
They see this small Gelasti woman, I guess. She's all discolored because she's so old, and you can see it. She has all these little, tiny little wrinkles, and she's very cute. She's actually very confused as to where she is. But she sees you get in, looks at you, and goes, "Oh, I suppose this is not the swimming pool, is it?"
Who the fuck are you?
Oh, I was supposed to, but I mean, I'm Beulah, but you don't seem that nice, are you? Are you
No.
lost, dearie?
In some ways, yes. In other ways, definitely no. Why don't you just take a seat and strap in, because we're going to be going real fast in just a second, and you seem sweet, and I don't want to have to clean off your insides from the shuttle wall. So why don't you sit down, get strapped in, and we'll get out of here. Yeah,
Oh,
and then we'll talk.
Oh yeah. Oh, thank you.
Okay, great. And the last thing we'll do, as I think Consort had pulled up, we stepped through and was already moving away, so you are already starting to feel some of the acceleration from that. That's already getting a bit painful for those of you with bodies that can feel those kinds of things. As you are starting to get strapped in and ready to deal with whatever comes next, you feel a little bit of just almost like, it sort of feels like you tune into a radio station in the back of your head, and you can hear this hubbub of thoughts and emotions. There's quite a lot of very heightened emotions at the moment. This is a group use of ether speak, so all of you are able to communicate directly to each other instantaneously, mind to mind, across shuttles. So you're able to speak to each other within the shuttles, but you are also able to speak to connect to each other, and you find yourselves in connection with the minds of your comrades, and also with a unfortunately misplaced in time or space, small but sweet Gelasti grandma. So to summarize or recap, on Nettle Shield, heading away from the Godown as quickly as possible, Rachella, Cecil, Mike, and Falling Brooch Gainer with their boss as well, Drumming Grown Renter, who's made it in just at the last second. And on Consort, heading towards the Baleful Core, Hal with the Zor's body, Beulah, excellent, Akil, and whoever Zeke is now. So as we are getting ready to leave the Godown, Wythe, do you want to take over?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to be leaving the Godown, because the Godown comprises these modules that are sort of cylinders that are connected by passages that are just really heavy metal like rings that interlock and are made to seal off in case of explosive breach, in the next module over, so you don't lose everything. But the Harbingers, these horrible looking, vaguely humanoid, basically biomecha, these war machines, which don't look exactly like any Late Tephnian war machines you've seen before. And they don't really have eyes. They have sort of mouth-like orifices. They are ripping apart, and it seems like basically eating. They have streams of nanites that are devouring and making use of the material of the Godown. They have ripped apart the dock, so Nettle Shield and Consort backed away and created new docks as described, infrastructural modules, and you've raced in different directions onto the Late Tephnian Sepidin class shuttles, these unarmed shuttles, which are speeding in sort of the same direction that they're going into NARM, but to different places in NARM. And your last image, if you're looking on the screens that they show, because they were created to serve humans, post-humans, as essentially planes, right? So they're showing you whatever you want. They can show you the void around them, and they can show behind what's happening to the Godown. You see this kind of vaguely T-shaped station made of these little pill-shaped modules just being ripped, and there's pops, silent pops, as explosive outgassing occurs module by module. Where you've been living for months is gone as these red eyeless humanoid lithe razor-tipped sort of assassin war machines are eating it with their glaive gun hands, just ripping apart, unsuturing these big connections between the modules. And it was not in orbit, but it was in a stable place at the end of NARM, and it is now just sort of falling apart as momentum takes hold. So it is being thrown away, the pieces that they're not eating. What does everyone think as you witness the end of the Godown?
I wonder where the nearest UV radiation capable sun lamp is. Like, wait, shit. I need that. Oh well, I'll figure it out.
Flying through space. It's like going thousands of kilometers the other direction.
Mike's appreciating the gently unfurling knitwear that's just floating free after the destruction of the station, loosed into the vacuum.
I untie Falling Bridge Gainer so they can have a look.
Yeah, Falling Rouge Gainer never liked the Godown and is happy to see it go.
Fair enough. It's possible that you wouldn't see this because the wraiths would not be able to pinpoint it, but somewhere out there are hard vac equipped lab mice created by Imago with Urwaitinoid goop tools living in basically a new bio space station they've made of this kind of neutral gray snot. So there is a now miniature Godown society of essentially 100 escaped lab rats with like little robotic servos coming off of their heads, living in a kind of bubble of goop. So that you can play using different rules at different time, but you don't even see that happen. It's just everything you possessed that was on the Godown. Falling Brooch Gainer doesn't care. Others maybe miss their tanning beds. It is just littering space. It is a horrible ending of an episode of Storage Wars in the far future where just random objects are floating. And if they are not protected against hard vac, they're burning and freezing up at once. Jennifer, do you want to take us to the race of the shuttles into NARM?
Sure. So the two shuttles are heading essentially in opposite directions. So the consort is heading towards the baleful core. So again, out towards this something you all would have come through. It's the primary stiffworks that also anchors one end of the braid of stone that stretches through the center of the black tube of NARM. And when you arrived in NARM on the Godown, well, you wouldn't have arrived on the Godown directly. You would have stepped through this strange spherical black stone object, I suppose, that is filled with some kind of substance that is apparently tackable, and would have been picked up before you floated away into the openness of the void between the stars by Nettle Shield and brought to the Godown. It's not far away, but unfortunately that distance is now not empty any longer and is filled with aggressive and possibly hostile wraiths. The other shuttle, Nettle Shield, I'll ask Team Nettle Shield, what is your priority at this moment? Team Consort is headed for the Vale. Where are you going?
Not to override everyone else, but I imagine we'd be heading towards the massive raids. Or at the very least, Mike would ask, can we get any closer? I have something we need to do. Nettle Shield, can you open a port or something? I have something I need to try here. As he readies to enthrall as many of these raids as possible.
Yeah, Nettle Shield also has been altered by a Void Elf who is living with you temporarily in the last couple of weeks on Godown. They have amended the Nettle Shield, which cannot, because of the nature of its creation, these Sepidin shuttles cannot attack anything, but Idno has added basically gun ports, so you can interact with the outside. They're special sort of essentially air docks, so you can sort of poke a weapon out. They're very primitive. You're now in shuttles that, while very far future in some ways, are also like Mad Max, like horrible dune buggy monster things, because you can just stick guns out of holes in the side. So you can definitely use one of these to kind of communicate with you see now this constellation, this swarm of red and gray in front of you.
All right. Yeah, for that, Mike will go up to one of these gun ports. Thank you for this. He rolls his sleeve up, and you see a writhing mass of not quite flesh, not quite worms, just sort of under the skin of his arm as the cable knit is rearranging itself. And I'm going to burn 1d20 grits to... It's not going to be many raids, but all right, that's 14 grit. And that will be 11 wraiths peeling off from this massive swarm. And he's going to be asking them, protect that other shuttle. They need to stop this.
Yeah, you're sending them with Consort.
Yes.
Great. 11 wraiths at random, large and small, of different shapes, fly away from the battle that they've joined, and you see it's an asymmetric battle of different sizes and different compositions of nanite-based intelligences that were all created at one point for exploration and ultimately war, military domination by the Late Tephnians, and have mostly been in torpor, nowhere near Sol, nowhere near any human habitation, as the wars for succession, the great civil war that ended this post-human hegemony over the galaxies, came to a close within seconds of it starting, and the two sides were left without instructions. So they essentially were waiting, and only recently, thanks to your actions, have they all chosen new sides. With the oncoming of the Duke of the Red Pyramid, you have some of them who are clearly partisans of the Red Pyramid and are essentially trying to help usher in a new order to the universe, which is this kind of wave of nanites and what looks like meat. It is kind of a mix of nanites recreating a dead human noble, as they are also recreating the inside of NARM. You have others that are attacking those that are clearly trying to prevent this, and they fall into different groups, and some of them seem more like partisans of some other side, and some do seem already predisposed to help what they might call, in translation, softies, so intelligences based in biology. Some who do not sort of hate their creators as they view humans, but have a sort of soft spot and feel like, okay, you guys have made some pretty big mistakes, but why don't we work together and not, destroy the basis of what gave rise to this nanite intelligence type of life. So these sort of vaguely three factions, meta factions, are kind of fighting, and some of the latter group peel away at very close to the speed of light, depending on their makeup, and they're sort of spiraling or spinning or just shooting straight back past Nettle Shield toward Consort, toward the Baleful Core, the stiffworks at the fore of NARM. we'll take that into account. We'll add that you have some protectors.
Consort, heads up. You got some backup coming your way. Be ready.
Oh, ever grateful. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, please.
Mike pulls his arm out of the port. It is covered in goo. Several of the threads of tentacle have sort of gone limp, and he's just sort of dragging it back out. Well, that took a lot out of me.
Ooh, yeah, I imagine. Is that your? Did you not just like kind of absorb those shards of the parrot? Never mind. Thank you, Nettle Shield. He pats the side of the ship, the closest place. Always reliable. Now, you wouldn't happen to have any sort of broadcasting equipment on board, like a sort of loudspeaker or he's like holding this little rectangle in his hand. I was going to ask about an auxiliary port, but I don't think this thing has any like where to plug in. I'm just kind of having some ideas over here of my own. How are you doing, friend? He's gonna.
I love being shot at by people who created me and then thought I might not be very useful and might only be useful to softies, thus a traitor since I've been working for softies. So I'm really glad that everyone is trying to kill me. This is a wonderful day. It's such a wonderful service I can do to post-humanity, to shepherd you back and forth as you pointlessly and often in hilarious ways fail to make this environment safe for any sort of intelligence that isn't just outright like a bunch of knives duct taped together, to use a common post-human expression. But yes, I can read whatever audio data file you have, good friend Dr. Rochella, and we can play this music at wonderful volumes, if you like. Now, granted, there are no media in the void, so the signals will not be able to propagate that way, but I can transmit them as radio waves, if you like, or I can make interesting light displays, and then it just basically starts trying to blind you with weird-shaped light gobos.
Well, I don't know if this thing makes any sound. It's always kind of been kind of quiet. Doesn't work that way, but I could kind of just sort of twist the kind of. He starts winding this little music box. I don't know if I'm gonna break it if I do anything weird with it. Maybe we get back to that in a little bit. And he's thinking of just broadcasting his vision quest dream to every sort of across all radio waves and sound to whatever thing. The idea of peace as the better option because we are all tiny and struggling with the infinite. And he has in his hand the mysterious dream box that he's had with him for his whole life. And yeah, he might destroy this oddment at this point if that is required. Cash this little thing in to infect as many beings nearby with the concept of peace. And I don't know. I feel like I was made for this, or I don't know. That's weird.
As you are considering this, you are able to, through the projections that Nettle Shield is giving you, you are able to see this swarm of wraiths, and then coming up the straw of NARM, this unimaginably large tsunami of nanites, the size of essentially Earth's moon, filling the tube of NARM. So we're going to check in with Team Vale in just a moment, but Team Nettle Shield, when we come back to you, we're going to ask you what you want to do about this. And I would recommend that you develop a strategy together to decide how you are going to survive this. That key element that you identified that you want to know is, how do we live through this? Not just us, but hopefully the entire team. What is it that you are going to do? What strategy do you want to employ to deal with the threat of the wraiths and the threat of the nanites? You have potentially weapons at your disposal, you have powers at your disposal, or oddments, or other things that you want to call on. And we encourage all of you to think through what it is that you would like to do to tackle this monumental challenge that at the moment you and your single, tiny, sarcastic asshole of a shuttle are facing on your own. So we'll come back to you in just a moment. Let's go back to the Team Veil on Consort. Beula, how are you feeling about all of this?
This is all very stressful, and I know that sometimes I may have lapses of, of judgment, of maybe something. I may have agreed to being here, and I did not really realize it. So I'm looking at my comrades, trying to figure out who these people, and there was a very impolite one, can be, trying to make friends maybe with them. Oh.
Hey, yeah, sorry about all that. Just a little stressed at the moment. There's a lot going on, and also I've been working on this for a few decades, and I'd really like to pull it off. But sorry, I was a bit rude before. Who the fuck are you, and what are you doing here?
I'm I don't know what I'm doing here. I do things from time to time, and that may have attracted some people's attention, but I just do my thing. Sometimes I want to be somewhere, and I am at that place, and sometimes I'm not, and sometimes I want to be sometime, and I am. That's convenient, but also a little confusing.
I do hate to tell you this, but you could not have picked a worse one. This is as bad pretty much as it gets. This is real bad. Any chance you can not be here? Because if you can not be here, you might want to not be here.
I don't know. It seems like a lot of a very big hassle. I can come with you, young. I mean, you look nice, a little spirited maybe, but we can.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
And this is our friend Hal. Currently, I think he's a cricket, the horse machine. Maybe.
Hello, Billa. Congratulations! You are now an honorary member of the company. We do not have a retirement age. Congratulations and welcome. You will receive your welcome pack should any of us survive this. Our odds of survival are 0.00001. So do please.
I think that's generous. I think that's real generous, Hal. Can you just send me the maths? I want to have a look, because that doesn't sound right to me. That's too high.
I may have slightly massaged the odds to make things sound better than they are, but yes, Beulah, look. Here we are. Look, we need your experience. We need all the hands we can get on this. What we're trying to do here is prevent the entire place from exploding in a great mess. There's a big evil general coming here with all the nanites, trying to kill us all, and we're trying to go there, stop him using this thing that Rooster prepared over many years. And yes, we need all the help we can get. So yes, here we are, and great to have you on the team.
Always happy to help. If I can do something, I will. I don't know.
What can you do? What can you do?
As I told you, I can. Sometimes I see things and they appear, like in my mind. It's very strange. I know that some people have been very interested in that for some time, but I can show you maybe.
Please.
Go for it, I guess.
Okay. I'm going to try and evoke something small, if I can. I don't know if evoke will be a full power, but I want maybe them to have a vision of how how the rest of my day was before I woke up. Is that possible to show how a machine, how I was?
Why don't you roll reason? Is it reason or charm for what's the primary die type?
I think it's reason.
Reason. All right. Roll reason for me.
Yeah. 10.
Okay. I'm happy with that. No problem. Explain to me. I would love you to describe what does it look like as you tap into whatever strange power you have been using, and what vision do you try to give to Hal in this moment?
I tried to show him like little glimpses, Darasan under the sun, old friends, bam, a mall, people telling me things in a very aggressive manner, trying to show me like diagrams of things I don't understand, and I nod politely, being a little tired, being out in at the swimming pool because that's what I like to do, so yeah, essentially I tried to show him a normal day in Beulah's life, being chased by weird people while still trying to do her granny stuff, I guess.
Oh, wow, you certainly have an interesting life. I'm going to need a long time to process this. And then the kind of horse judders for about 2 seconds. He's like, wow, okay, yep. What are we doing, Ezek?
Yeah, so the immediate problem is that, and they point at the screen. There are essentially a variety of different wraiths of shapes and sizes coming at us. We're not that far from the core itself. It won't take that long to get there, but we can't just go directly there because there are too many dangerous things in the way. So I'm going to ask each of you what you would like to do. So you'll have one action that you can decide how to use it however you want. You can interact with consort, you can attempt to interact with the wraiths directly, you can use a power, you can do essentially whatever you want, but one thing that you would like to contribute in order to decide how we progress through this oncoming onslaught of already interfighting wraiths that we find ourselves needing to get through as quickly as possible. Laura and Harry, how would you like to address that problem?
So Hal would like to interface with consort and say, "Hey, consort, Hal here. A little bit more wired than perhaps the last time we met. I think we need your powers, and we need to zip through here. I've got a lot of power going spare. You may have noticed it's literally oozing out of me. How can I help you?"
Hal, so nice to see you. She's like speaking really calmly, which is maybe a little bit grating because you're zipping around. We need to get out of here really quickly. Also, everyone should be nicer to Beulah. She's on our side. We're all on the same side.
I'm being nice.
I think she's talking directly to Hal right now. But she would have probably already said that to everybody. So that's fair.
Okay, and yes, I think we need to zip through this. How about I boost you up with a cheeky power up? What do you think, consort?
Oh, that sounds great. Just so you know, Basumu is coming towards us quite quickly, so maybe a cheeky power-up would be helpful. I want to keep you all safe.
Okay, so mechanically, power-up, would you say consort is an ancient or high Tephnian naval weapon, or an alien or late Tephnian naval weapon?
Late
Tephnian.
Late Tephnian, okay.
Is she a weapon? She's not really a weapon.
She's a war machine, just a shuttle, not a weapon. Yeah, but same difference. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's 5x grit to add X charges to such a thing. I'll burn 15 grit to add 3 charges. So the kind of the Zors is sort of vibrating, almost just from impatience, as Consort speaking anyway. And there's just this algae just fluorescing and oozing, and it sort of goes into the pore, like it kind of goes through pores and cracks in the ship, and is just sort of getting in there and just really boosting the power. And you can see this just kind of flowing, fluorescing algae kind of snaking down towards the power center of the ship and just really kind of surging.
Okay, so Hal, you're spending your turn to converse and then power up Consort. Beola, what are you doing?
I'm asking her, is there any way I can help now? It's tiring, to do all my things. It takes a lot of energy. So is there anything I can do right now to help you,
Are you speaking to the artist formerly known as Zeke or Consort?
I think I'm talking to whoever wants to listen to an older woman. I see that the machine Hal seems to be very busy right now, but dressing the everybody.
Consort. Again, and I'll say this to everyone. The Sumu, which you may not know who this is, but she part of the wall suddenly kind of opens up, and you see this sort of eel-like wraith coming at you quite quickly. It has been approaching, and I can go as quickly as I can. And Hal, thank you so much. But we need to be prepared for potential attack. I'm so sorry.
I can do things, no problem at all. When now I can do something. I can have my friend come over if you want. He's very frightening.
Who is this friend?
Sometimes when a grandson or something like this is a little annoying, I focus, and then my friend comes and takes care of business for me. It's very nice, very useful, but maybe too small, because my big friend is small compared to your big friend over there.
I think Consort doesn't really. She just kind of tries to impress on you. She's like, I'm not sure you really understand the gravity of the situation.
No.
There's she just keeps trying to make the screen bigger and show you how scary this attacker is, but also speaking to you calmly because she doesn't want you to freak out.
Can I fold space or time? Which would be best? Sometimes, I take care of things. I don't have friend. I have places I can put things. Maybe that will help. It looks very big.
Laura, I think you don't. She's a really Consort's very supportive. I think of anybody. She would just you would feel comfortable to do whatever you're about to do.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. So now I'll try and look up a power that will actually help us in real ways.
And to clarify the stakes, so you're on consort, which can move very, very fast. In order to not kill you, cannot move that fast because all of you have bodies that can't withstand the speed at which it can move. But you're not going very far at all. So you are basically arriving at the Baleful Core. However, you are being attacked by partisans of the Red Pyramid. So there are wraiths there who are deciding to absolutely destroy Consort and Nettleshield as traitors, and they are attacking you. And there are 11 friendlies coming in from the more distant armada. And Consort has just been powered up, and so is overclocked and is maneuvering with lightning reflexes. But that is the situation, is that you are being attacked. You're coming under fire. There is basically a very, very powerful amplified laser that is about to sear apart Consort, and she is dodging as best as she can. So, Laura, we have no idea what you're going to do, but this is your last spotlight action of this setup round of everyone gets an action to do something as you arrive at the Baleful Core. And then we're going to jump back to Nettleshield.
I can I surge one of the, well, basically I think I need to focus for one round in order to use a power from a weird power in a way that is outside of the norm, right?
Yeah, what power are you going to use?
Basically, yeah, I will try and get some of the wraiths locked in a box of different time space. I'm trying to look up, because since I can use basically both time and space things, I'm trying to look up which would be best. But I think I have one round to think about this, right? Or to rather choose a proper power.
Well, I think narratively, I think you need to choose an action right now that Beulah is doing, and then we will resolve that, and then we're going to jump to the other group. So if you're going to use a power, you got to use it. Otherwise, Consort and 11 bodyguards are at the core and being attacked by a much larger weapons, a much larger war machine, and then the Harbingers are also coming more slowly than Consort, but after you toward the Baleful Core.
I will fold space. Small pocket of space, but at least a pocket of space in the middle of the group of wraiths.
Okay, so you want to sort of teleport them elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Burden the Grit. I don't believe that requires a roll. You just you tell us you're targeting some of the combatants. Are you targeting the nearest one, which has the laser that is already fired and Consort has dodged it, but it will continue to fire whenever it charges up, which is quite large? It is a weapons platform. Imagine something kilometers long, this kind of basically like an arrow-headed flatworm that is saying horrible things that Consort is sort of redacting and providing like the subtitles for you on the screen as just like says impolite things. Makes demands we cannot meet.
I'm going to go for the nearest, I think. Close, but not that close, so that Consort can still move around. I just burned 14 grit, and I need to make one reason check right now. Just here. And I rolled a 6. I can put the hopefully this is a success. It's a smaller success, D6, right?
Yeah, 6 is a success.
Okay.
Oh, this is fold space. Sorry, so not
this is fold space.
Not bend space, but fold space. So you're making a new stiffworks.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's go for it. How is it that you make a stiffworks that causes Basumu, this wraith that is attacking Consort and trying to basically laser her in half and eat her, to be somewhere else in time and space, to go through a stiffworks? What does that look like?
Usually, when I use that power, I think of a place I know that is far from here, usually Darasan. But I try to think about a space that is Darasan-like without being Darasan. So essentially, I teleport them to another version of my swimming pool. Like I imagine a very large swimming pool because it looks like they're floating in space. So it's very close to what this is. So essentially, folding them into a swimming pool new space, if that's possible.
So in the middle of space, hundreds of kilometers off to your right, you're looking out the viewport, and you create what looks like just a beautiful pool. We're thinking of a swampy, lake in Darasan where you might enjoy a relaxing swim. And this weapons platform, at relativistic speeds, flies through the pool and is gone. Is somewhere else in space and time. Consort is still under attack, but from much more distant, much less threatening enemies for the moment. And it has been powered up, and it has bodyguards arriving. So you have saved Consort from the journey from the Godown to the core, and Consort has arrived at the core. And with that, we're going to cut back to the other group, and the wave of nanites and meat of the Duke of the Red Pyramid coming toward the core from the other end, from Deep NARM. Jennifer.
All right. So I'm happy for you all to strategize a little bit if you have a plan that you want to put together as a group. I would recommend that you think about whether you want to do something as a group or individually. And once you have a chance to chat, I'll ask each of you what you are doing for your action this turn. But would you like to have a discussion about the way that you want to tackle this oncoming nearly, small moon-sized, but actually big moon-sized wave of nanites and meat and aggressive hyper-advanced space machines that are coming to kill you?
So, great job, Mike, with sending those 11 off. And I think, Broach, you also convinced a few.
We'll come back to the consequence of that at the end of the round. We will clarify what the impact of that was. You can see that Rachella is doing something, I believe winding a small music box type thing. And Nettle Shield, perhaps like on a console or something that Nettle Shield has created that kind of slots into it and appears to be winding it, but you don't hear any music, I don't believe, and you don't see anything happening, just that this is ongoing. And we'll talk about what happened with that at the end of this round.
Actually, once I start that, everyone who can perceive it gets the dream broadcast into their head. So it's a weird, maybe I don't finish winding it until the end of the turn, and then as it unwinds, this will begin. If that lets everyone else take their action, and we can then continue to, we can resolve it then. If it's like a music box, yes.
Yeah, so that's great. We'll come back to the impact of that. And the four of you have an opportunity now to decide what you want to do. So where are you going? What would you like to do from here? Five of you, I guess, if Drumming Grown Renter's around.
Let's see. I guess Mike was hoping to find some way to seed structure into this oncoming wave of chaos, sort of having it, some of the nano machines, maybe they stop trying to recreate cities of flesh and meat for a moment. Let's give them something to latch on to. Let's see. Okay, what do we know about nano machines? We know, I don't know anything, actually. I know health science, but I don't know nano. But I like the golden ratio. Let's put a little spin on this.
Yeah, I can tell you lots of things about the ships that are coming, but can we Like, is that a valid strategy? Just peel off a few at a time? It seems like there are too much of them. And like, if speaking arrogantly, maybe I can destroy a small one, but that also doesn't seem enough.
Well, it might be a start. I'm feeling. I'm running on empty, if I can be completely honest. But I think I can. Let's finesse this. Let's see if we can terrify this crowd into pulling back their support for the pyramid, even as it's collapsing. I guess Mike's action would be just grabbing a handful of Thinky Boost and just starting to chew.
Okay, go ahead and do that. I am going to ask. So, Cecil, let's start with you. What would you like to do for your action this round?
Mike, how were you thinking to terrify them?
Let's see. Well, honestly, I think you could do some heavy damage to some of their. Let's see if we can kneecap some of these bigger raids. See if that can make them reconsider.
Yeah. Also, off of the 16 reason I rolled last session, guess I can like just do the equivalent of yell at them. What are you doing, Jeffrey? I know your mother. But I'll translate that. So okay. So kneecap a large one of them. Yeah, sure. We have those gun ports. Maybe I can find a. Yeah. Let my action be. I'm going to. What's the word? Can I use like sense deep wires to single out like a vulnerable spot on one of the nearby war machines?
I'll say if you want to spend that time kind of like interfacing with Nettle Shield and using what you know about nanotechnology and about Tephnian shuttles to try and make sense of those readings and understand where the weak points are, essentially, or where the leaders are in this cloud of war machines and where you can make the most effective strike, essentially. So yeah, you can certainly do that.
All right. I just don't have to roll a 1, which I didn't. So it's a great start.
Okay, so tell me about what you're trying to learn, or what does it look like as Cecil is interfacing with Nettle Shield and perhaps drawing on some of his own interior nanites as well.
So Cecil is going over all the readings to find, like singling out, as Mike suggested, one of the bigger ones that are nearby, that are threatening, to find like a weak spot, like where the power supply is connected to the computer, to we have some weapons, and if we can aim them very precisely, I think we can do damage that at least is impressive for the power imbalance that we have. So he spends a turn just going over the charts and finds exactly that, the power supply of one of these big war machines.
Okay.
So next turn, only to try to damage it.
Okay. Yeah. So you are spending some time understanding the flow of not only energy within these big war machines, but also the flow of energy between them. And you're able to spend time understanding how they interact with each other, how they differ to each other. And you've understood a little bit more about the hierarchies that have developed over the course of perhaps seconds or minutes, not necessarily based on age or even size or technological sophistication. Some of it is related to that, and some of it is just related to esoteric internal politics and hierarchies, either pre-existing from thousands of years or just a pecking order that has emerged in the last few minutes as these wraiths come back online. And you are able to watch that unfold, and by observing them, see which ones are the center, the points that the other ones orbit around, and identify where it would be most effective and most impactful to strike. So you're not going to strike on this turn, but you know where to strike next. Let's go on to Falling Brooch Gainer. What would you like to do?
Yeah, truly, Falling Brooch Gainer just needs to recover pool. So if there's anything here that looks vaguely edible to someone with weight in biology, they would love to consume it.
Does Nettle Shield have a pharmacy on board?
Nettle Shield has all sorts of useful things, and Nettle Shield, at the mere mention, begins 3D printing for you a lovely array of what looks like canapes that are still alive, and mostly motor oil. But from a weight point of view, your physiognomy should find these things either delicious or not delicious, but certainly not poisonous, as they might be to a human who does not possess nanites that cleanse their blood and correct copy errors in their DNA, et cetera, so de-age them, prevent them from having tumors. For Wayton, you're just going to basically roll will, and if you get a 6 or better, it tastes good, and if you get a 2 to a 5, it doesn't taste good, and if you get a 1, you yak. But otherwise, yeah, they might even restore a little grit. It's just food, yeah.
All right, that's 12.
This is the most delicious. What the thing looks like is 3 razor blades in an oyster that's the size of a cat, and it's seeping this kind of green-black sludge, like something from a Magic the Gathering card that creates like a poison enchantment, but it tastes like mangosteen ice cream mixed with cocaine. It is one of the best tasting things, if not the best, you've ever taken a bite of.
Nice.
I think you should get some like D4 grit or something, but defer to Jennifer.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to ask, are you okay with this? You rolled a 12. Do you want to roll 12 D4 grit recovery?
Yeah, totally.
Are you okay with that, wife? Awesome. All right. So go ahead and roll 12 D4. I think you can... I'll say you can roll 12 D4 grit recovery, but you also are feeling more than a little bit. Everybody's just losing it. It's the end of the universe. Let's go. You're feeling more than a little bit wired by what's going on here. I'm going to give you for the next, let's say, 2 rolls, a -1 on will to resist world, because you are just in it and you're existing with the flow of the universe and you are just going with whatever comes along.
Right. Okay.
But go ahead and roll your grit recovery if you're happy to spend your turn doing that. We'll go on to Mike.
All right, Mike, he's just been chewing pills. After the 10th pill, just half of it started coming out of his mouth. He's walking over to undo the restraints on Fallen Brooch Gainer. All right, you. Now, I don't know what you were doing to Zeke. I don't know why you and Alex both decided to ruin our chances of stopping this. But I have a feeling that she's with you, isn't she?
Always watching, yes.
Well, can you let her know that it seems like she wants to make this horrible tube a home for herself. But if we can't stop this, this won't be a home fit for anyone. Nobody. There will be no future of Waitanity if this thing gets out. So she needs to help us stop this now. And Mike lifts up Falling Brugane and makes eye contact and tries looking to see if there's a sparkle of exalted Nestweaver in there. If you can hear me, help.
Okay. So what is this action?
I think this is an attempt at this is an attempt at charming exalted Nestweaver. Maybe intimidating that things will fall apart by trying to stop us from closing that ending. If she wants this to be a home for Waitanity, like, we need to stop the wave.
So you're picking up Falling Brugane like he's a walkie-talkie, kind of?
It just sort of by the shoulders, looking right in those big black bug eyes. I'm hoping I'm making a connection here. Maybe Falling Brugane is feeling uncomfortable as the structure of Mike's right hand is becoming less flesh and becoming more what looks like thinly packed ramen noodles, sort of caressing and losing their substance a little bit.
Roll will.
All right.
And Falling Brugane, I'm gonna say
That's an 8.
I think Falling Brugane, you could roll movement if you don't want to be picked up, but otherwise I don't think you can stop like this connection.
FPG is willing to get picked up for the communication to happen.
Great. So both Mike and Falling Brugane get, first of all, splitting headaches as you hear Exalted Nestweaver kind of like crackling into your heads. No one else can hear this, but demanding to know what's going on and sounding very threatening and a little bit scared by what Mike said about the future of Waitana. And she says, I thought we had taken care of this. What are you doing?
We didn't stop the wave. We stopped what started the wave, but it's still coming. And I'm sorry, but when you interrupted our process earlier, you should have voiced your concern that we were cutting off the entrance. Because if you want this to be where Waitanity shall reside, if you want this to stay open, we can't let this genie out of the bottle.
Mike, I think roll a d6.
Okay.
You're going to take some grit damage from her reaction from this because she is like, that is not what happened. I was trying to stop you from... She wanted to stop you from closing off the stiffworks. So now she's pissed off. You've like contacted her through Falling Brugane in this aggressive way, and you're wrong in hers is what she's thinking. So it sucks.
Yeah, that 2 grit damage. All right.
Yeah, you feel a little nauseous.
Not letting go of Falling Brugane. Oh, I know you don't like to hear that, but if this gets out, there's no guarantee that Waitons will be integrated into risen Tephnian society. If anything does form after this ripples out.
I think you're going for. I'm just going to say I think you're going for slightly the wrong tack here. But I overall like your strategy. It's very fun. Should we keep moving through this as this conversation goes on, or what do you want, Jennifer?
Yeah, so where are we leaving it with Mike and Exalted Nestweaver then?
So I think you haven't quite gotten there. We can. I guess it depends on what the goal here is.
Could I just put out there, maybe this is an intimidation attempt, because indirectly, it's not like Mike is saying he's going to do something, but rather saying that by not taking action to intervene, like, it's going to be worse off for the future of Waitons. But maybe not the... Might sound like a threat.
Okay. Do you want to do... We can do a roll charm. Yeah, so that's a 19 against a 4. You do not intimidate her. But she still is... She's still sort of an ally, sort of. But it's not... If anything, you feel intimidated by how angry she is and how insistent she is that you do it right, even though you're getting actually kind of conflicting things from her, which are, we can't close this off and like protect these areas. She's seemingly of two minds, but it's a good idea. Now you've got contact with her.
Okay, so Mike is having this conversation with with Falling Brute Gainer, and through them to the massive hell scientist turned kaiju megacity, Exalted Nestweaver, while Cecil is examining and evaluating the patterns of the wraiths. Cecil, as you are looking at these readouts and understanding from Nettleshield's sort of scans and watching this pattern, you're starting to see the pattern shift a little bit. You're seeing one of these, like, you're kind of thinking of them as like bright stars, like points that are the center of a network. And you see one of them start to move in an unexpected way. Rochella, describe to me the dream that you have sent out into NARM.
Yeah. So let me first, like, I have this oddment. I think I was like, can I write my own? And I posted the description of it a long time ago, and the response was like this. And I was like, that sounds like one of these. The description of the object which Rochella is interacting with is as follows. He believes it to be that. If it is actually that, let's resolve it that way, but I'll posit this to you. It is a music box made of dark gray brushed metal. It does not open and produces no audible sound, but causes every sapient within earshot, which I described as 10 meters unboosted, to recall a dream of the individual who wound it, thinks of the dream while winding it. When he finishes winding the box, he also makes, he says to Nettle Shield, all right, Nettle Shield, I'm ready. All channels, all frequencies hailing. If you would, thank you. Unleashes the winding box, and that he was thinking of the vision quest he had previously, of the vastness of NARM, of infinite seas, of impossible forests, all the scale of a mystery that dwarves every living being fighting within it right now for supremacy. And he says, as they see this dream, and this is his humongous charm check. If you're an AI, you're getting a 19. If you're not, you're getting a 14, I guess. Just a 14. He says, friends, and you're getting this over ether speak too, by the way. Friends, fellow small beings, I know we're all scared. It is within our nature to be scared. We may be fighting for something like survival or for a future. And as you can see, no matter how big you are, compared to the scale of what is infinite, you are infinitesimal. There is no way that we make it to a better future fighting against each other. Only by acting together can we hope to accomplish anything. What you are fighting for may be a dream or an ideal of a new world that was foisted upon you by someone before you were even created. You might be dreaming of a pyramid coming to supremacy. You may be dreaming of becoming infinitely large so that no one may hurt you. But it hasn't worked so far, has it? So you might consider changing tack. Please work with us. And that's Rochella. Broadcast, all channels, all ether speak. 19s, 14s, pleading for sanity, for peace. As they're, especially Mike, who has popped how many Thinky Boost, is now having a crazy trip, I have to imagine, if the box actually works as intended. Or maybe I'm currently just your little trip guru talking you through your trip, but that's my action.
You send out that the dream of Narm as a place of peace and somewhere
Cooperation.
where the wraiths can coexist with each other. And Cecil, you see again movement that you would not have predicted from your understanding of the wraith movements. White, do you want to describe what has heard Rochella's call?
Yes, you have thrown a kind of surreal, David Lynchian love grenade into the void in the middle of a battle among war machines who move at relativistic speeds, close to the speed of light, and can reform themselves and were created to destroy planets and metabolize them. And some of them are now even more scary and dangerous. They've spent their long torpor becoming more dangerous. Some of them have joined together and have joined together with different kinds of biological life. On a 16, massive, massive success that is really system breaking in terms of that number and min-maxing powers. So great job, Bean. You just, I think, really do appeal to one very powerful but essentially weak-willed sword frigate. This being is 8 kilometers long and 1 kilometer wide, and it looks kind of like a giant red sword with kind of sword-like Castlevania-like wings of swords. and it is flying at relativistic speeds, shooting at other sort of red, similar, dangerous-looking war machines, because it vaguely has the sense that we should be able to partner together and essentially join our nano mothers. We should be able to blend our resources. When it hears you, the box drifts past. It grabs the box and protects it, and it now has like a reliquary. It's like a really ripped dude with like a flaming heart, like Maria like tattoo, and it has the cube like in the middle of it, and it immediately drops everything to fly toward Nettle Shield. It's much larger than Nettle Shield. Nettle Shield can easily dock inside. And it announces itself on all, broadcasting at Nettle Shield as loudly as it can, playing triumphal Late Tephnian battle jazz, which probably sounds just terrible. And Jesse, what does this sword frigate say? You are muted, so we are translating from Late Tephnian.
I heard your dream. I am the good. I am here. The Meta Mothers are for you.
Great. With that, you have
Lovely.
a sword frigate on your side. Do we want to cut back to Consort before we take a quick break and then wrap up with the big ending? Jennifer.
As Team Nettleshield is gathering allies and understanding the lay of the land, as it were, to tackle this oncoming threat, we are back with Team Consort, who have just briefly taken a similarly enormous Late Tephnian frigate and sent it to somewhere through a glittering pool of water manifested out of nothing, which I'm sure whoever's on the other side of that really appreciates it. As we approach the end of the braid of NARM and start to approach the Baleful Core itself, again, all of you having arrived, except for Beulah, who would not have arrived this way, would have seen the Baleful Core previously. But Wythe, do you want to describe what the Baleful Core looks like as Consort approaches?
Yes. So the braid of NARM that twists through it is stone braided in this helical fashion, and at the very end it just peters out into sort of spikes. And just before that is something that it's pretty large compared to your ship again, but it's very small compared to the vastness of NARM. It's basically a building-sized, crushed kind of barrel shape. It's like a sphere that was crushed down and truncated. So one end is open, and it emits it's what looks like green astral plasma. It looks like a green star, which is not a thing. Stars do have colors. None of them are green. It is also not astral plasma. It is not hot. It is emitting some sort of visible radiation, visible spectrum radiation, and it does emit exotic particles. Now and again, it's not safe to be around it for long periods of time if you're biological, but it is generally not harmful in the way that being anywhere near a star, you would just die right away. It's too hot. So this thing is cool and just kind of a cool green laser light. It's just this field of soft green irradiance on one end. The other end is just closed. It's just black stone, and it spins slowly around the braid of NARM. And it is large enough that Consort can kind of land on it like an asteroid, right? While Consort is doing this, Consort is pursued from behind. You can see the 9 forms of those harbingers, those red wraiths coming after you who just destroyed the Godown. And you can see joining from the armada ahead are larger forms coming to attack. Ahead of them are 11 larger forms that are on your side, which you would know from the signals transmitted from Nettle Shield. And those beings are now all fighting each other. So there is a battle very close to you, happening kind of around, tumbling sort of just close to you by the Baleful Core. You are on the Baleful Core.
All right, let's go. I'm gonna keep calling them the artist formerly known as Zeke. I don't love that, but we've also affectionately referred to them as Zooster. Heads towards one of the places where Consort typically opens an airlock to get off. Y'all coming?
Let's go.
And they will lead Akil as well, I believe, is with us, and step off into the extremely weak or pretty much non-existent gravity of this strange barrel of a black stone barrel of goo as you all disembark. It's very strange, I think, standing here on something that it like you feel this sense of disorientation, as if you are standing on a planet. You can see it's the shape of it, its slope, but because it's floating in space, you have this sense momentarily that you are enormous, standing, seeing over the horizon and looking into the stars beyond. And you can see the movements of little points of light as they dance around each other, not nearly far enough away, and yet still very, very far by any measure that you are accustomed to. And you have this strange sensation of being kind of at the end of the universe, and all of the proportions are off as you stand at the edge of this glowing pool, essentially, of bright neon green star stuff that's glowing underneath your feet. Something that you, again, have all come through at one point or another to arrive here in NARM. And the person who is with you looks at you and says, well, so basically the idea is we need to go in, but then not go anywhere. Right. So this is it's like a stiffworks, like a really cool one and a really old one, but it connects to spindle. And I mean, I guess if you want to go back, now's your chance, but don't. So what we need to do is get it to not take us there, like go in, but then not go. Right. So that we're kind of in between. Does that make sense? So I guess I'll just, I don't know. I've never done this before. Usually it's just permanent. And they're going to have a look around to see how to do that.
Do we want to have the players at this point take any action to help the artist formerly known as Zeke activate the reprogrammed control cube, the Hichi computer? So this advanced comms from hundreds of millions of years from now that you recovered from Honey Space in the Escher-esque in the broken braid of NARM. Impossible to break in, yet broken nonetheless. And it looks sort of like a squashed metal skateboard, miniature skateboard. Do you want to help them figure out how to activate it in such a way that you are now entering essentially a sort of terminal mode and speaking with the baleful core itself, which is, in theory, a technology of some kind which will be built hundreds of millions of years from now and yet exists today?
Yeah, so Hal would certainly like to help. Hal has been involved with this sort of plan before and has planned this with Zeke. Mechanically, what that look like? Would that be a reason check to help, or what are we looking at? Okay, I'll burn 3 and roll a 10, 13 to help on reason. So to help, Hal is sort of,
yes,
again, sort of jittering around, and sort of like you can see the Zors is really very unstable, and just sort of the algae is sort of branching across, like from the watch and from the kind of chassis. It's sort of getting everywhere, and it's sort of touching the Hichi device, and just kind of juddering, and Hal is then just transmitting sort of information to Zeke from what he's discovering.
Okay, amazing. So so the Zor's now covered in these sort of almost moss-like veins of algae that are growing out of Hal and integrating with this this apparatus that they're currently riding, also extending onto this squashed skateboard sort of thing. As we are doing that, Beula, what would you like to do in this moment?
Is it possible to watch but also help? Like, I'm not feeling that great, but I want to, like, Hal seems very friendly, and he's helping by essentially standing there and looking supportive. So I think I'll try and and help as well, especially since we're at the end of the world, and I'm very often at the end of the world. So feel
Why
I
don't
know
you
my
roll charm for me?
sure.
If there's any time for a charm roll, surely this is it.
Okay, that was a 7, 6 plus 1.
Okay. Does Beola offer any words of encouragement or advice or wisdom as she sees essentially this sort of strange, like partly cyborg person who's been a bit short with her recently, and also an algae-covered six-legged cricket horse with a wristwatch attached to it, attempt to commune with a box in order to talk to a giant bucket full of goo. What would you like to say in this moment?
I don't think I understand much of your aesthetic sense. I don't do things this way myself, but I admire your. You seem so at ease. You're so young, and you understand everything that you're doing. Or so it seems. We have our weird horse friend here, and you're a very brave-looking person creature. And I'm very sure that with our faith in everything, and I am faithful, we will manage to. We saw the very big things, and now there are less things. And I trust you, little ones. I trust you entirely.
Um, Fantastic. So you look over at this scene. I think as this person looks up at you, you can see reflected in the glass of their helmet. You can see of their envirosuit. You can see the flashing lights and the bright red stars of the harbingers coming closer. But you also see, like closer than you would have expected, a blue and a red like sun reflected in their envirosuit helmet. And if you look up behind you, there are no points of light emanating those lights anywhere nearby. You just see them briefly as they move their head, reflected in the glass of their visor, and they say, "I'm actually a bit older than you think, but it is appreciated. And we will try to tack or communicate with the baleful core itself."
Okay. Jennifer, since this is essentially now an NPC attacking with massive help from Hal, do we want to basically cut to the results of this, which is all happening very quickly, and then we're going to take a short break and come back for the big grand finale.
Perfect.
So, as Consort is docked and you all are on the baleful core and using the technology of the Heechee to communicate with this Heechee stiffworks that is vast and has until now just been essentially a weird barrel that connects spindle to this straw of unbreakable stone that goes on for light years. But you realize is itself a technology and perhaps even a sort of person. As this is happening, Consort takes off femtoseconds before orbital platforms lasers strike at where it was just parked, searing but obviously having no effect on the spindle stone. But Consort is now engaged in combat along with whoever remains of the 11 comrades who were sent to defend it. And picture if you've seen like Knight of Seven Kingdoms, the great charge of the 7 versus 7, and then we cut to like most of them are dead and fucked up. Like in the moment that you looked away, all of you, and had this conversation, most of the 11 that were sent to defend Consort are ripped apart, are ribbons of what looks like rust and blood floating above you and being sucked up by enemies. Mostly one enemy in particular. So you are now on a sort of clock as Zeke and Rooster, one person combined, with the help of Hal and the encouragement of an essentially random Gelasti grandmother who is stuck on the Godown, are able to communicate with the baleful core. The second to last thing I'll say is, before we go to the actual communication, is that the primary war machine attacking you looks like a sort of largely sort of bony white with red orange sort of rusty viscera visible, and then some much redder sort of revealed musculature, docs, weapons, but vaguely humanoid shape that is flying extremely quickly around and sort of one by one ripping apart the defenders sent to protect Consort. And presumably will come after you when it can. And Consort is essentially trying to shield you from attacks and intercept them and just take the damage. So that is happening. The last thing I'll say before we cut to the break is Zeke, Rooster, Hal, and Beulah use the little crushed skateboard-looking supercomputer, ultracomputer, and you hear a very surprised voice. Jesse, do you want to be the surprised voice of the Baleful Corps, which did not realize there was anyone intelligent in NARM? It has been here for millions of years, and it was kind of waiting to be discovered by these so-called humans or Waitons or whomever that it was going to help one day. But it's never been spoken to or asked to help with anything. It just kind of hangs out, and suddenly someone has just entered Hello World. Or what's up, dog?
I assume you're friends.
Great. Hi.
Jesse, is this voice booming in someone's head? Is it booming in everyone's head?
It's buzzing in everyone's head.
I think you hear 80,000 little sort of vaguely insectoid echoes, vaguely machinic. All of you are now speaking with the Baleful Corps. Any quick thoughts? You're speaking with essentially a door. It's opened right now. It's doing its job. It didn't know you were there.
So I think Hal would say, "Hey, Baleful Corps, lovely to meet you. We are in a bit of trouble here. There's a whole situation. There's the Red Duke, the pyramid, and all that shit, and he's trying to kind of take over the universe, destroy everything. I think we need to shut you down. Does that sound cool?"
Oh, I've seen these things. I'm not sure that's the right thing to do, but I love talking to you. Is this the best thing? And it's sort of like different voices that seem to be talking to you and each other.
I think at this, you see the flicker of green faux astral plasma sort of die down and modulate and soften to a neutral white. And you are being invited in to discuss what it is you want and how the Baleful Corps can help you. And at the same time, Consort is essentially grabbed by the very large, vaguely humanoid war machine above you. And Consort urges you all to run, to jump into the barrel of what looked like hellfire, but is now just neutral light.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Hal's going to say, "All right, team, pretty clear. Only way out is through. Let's go," and leaps in.
Zooster will offer their hand to Beulah to help her into the glowing heart of the Baleful Corps.
Well, that is very much appreciated. I'm okay
Shall
with
we?
jumping with a friend. Oh, yes.
Akil jumps in. You all descend. There's very little gravity in NARM, as you know. Usually it goes toward the outside. If you're on the braid, if you're in the exact middle, you can just kind of stay there. And in this case, you do feel a tug, a gentle tug of Earth-like gravity, and you're falling just a couple of feet into a room, a sort of neutral, imagine, the Matrix, like a room outside of time and space, a dark room inside the Baleful Corps. We will come back to your conversation with the future Bee People's technology, and we will come back to the armada of the Red Pyramid, the Neo-Red Pyramid, and the Meta Mothers fighting against it. After a brief bio break, don't go anywhere. Folks, it's 3:50. Can we say we'll all be back on stream by 3:55? Excellent. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, GMs and players. If you missed part 1 for some reason, you can watch part 1 on the YouTube. Everybody go get a break out of here. And we will, of course, have this all available. If you're watching live and you need to also take a break, the whole stream will be available on the YouTubes. Jennifer, any last thoughts before you take off? Okay. Then I will also close my camera and be back at 3:55 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Hey, what's up, everyone? We are coming back online with more of NARM, the finale, part 2, maybe leading to a reboot. Let's find out what's going to happen. We have our lovely players. Thanks again for making time. Thanks to everyone who's played in the game, whether you're here today or not. We really appreciate everyone who's been playing, and we will have more community Stillfleet games. We actually have about twice as many games coming up. And many thanks to our lovely GM mods on the server, 3 of whom have been helping with this campaign, including Jennifer, who started as a player and just kept basically coming up with ideas. So we're coming back. I think we're waiting on maybe one player. We are in the middle of the action with the group split between 2 locations, the Baleful Core, the stiffworks that connects NARM to Spindle, as well as sort of deeper into NARM, an armada of wraiths, of late Tephnian war machines. So imagine spaceships, but made of nanites, changing their form and attacking each other, eating each other as they seek to enact some new ideology of one type or another, some of which are not so bad, and some of which are pretty bad for humans, Waitons, etc. Now that we're all back, I'm going to kick it back to Jennifer. Do you want to say which of these scenes we're zooming in on?
Yeah, so we left Team Vale, whose job is to deliver the message, or perhaps the technology, to the Baleful Core, the stiffworks that connects NARM to Spindle, and therefore to the rest of the universe. The one point that you cannot allow the oncoming nanite wave to reach while it is still connected to Spindle, because that will allow those nanites to propagate through the rest of the universe and presumably destroy or rule all life on the other side, wherever there is a stiffworks. And so our voidminers have stepped into the welcoming white glow of the Baleful Core, even as they sink into the softly glowing white goo. There's an awful lot of goo going on. The softly glowing white goo, as you can look up with your sort of last glimpse of the end of NARM, which has been your home for many months now, or perhaps just the last couple of minutes, you can see the familiar shape of Consort grabbed by a massive wraith and literally snatched out of the air and held in place. And you can hear Consort's still calm and measured voice, but telling you in no uncertain terms that you have to go quickly and you have to make this work. And you will sink into the goo from there. We are going to move from there to the Nettle Shield and Team Shield, who are gearing up to make a difference in the oncoming wave of nanites and wraiths that are accompanying them to take the Baleful Core. Team Shield, what would you like to do? Again, we have several potential options in play. Cecil has taken some time to understand the internal structure of both the wraiths themselves and their relationships to each other. So should you choose to strike with some sort of weaponry, you know exactly where that would be best placed. Mike and Falling Broochgainer have made contact with Exalted Nestweaver, a massive city, more than double her previous size now, but originally a Wait in Hell scientist who has a vision of Waitanity's new home here in NARM that she is determined to create herself by any means necessary. And you have recently obtained a new ally in the form of a friendly wraith who has been summoned to your cause by the dream of a NARM where everything can coexist and perhaps find a peaceful path forward together. You get the sense that maybe this wraith doesn't entirely understand the peaceful coexistence part of the equation, but they're real on board with whatever it is you want him to do, and they're just happy to be here and happy to help. So those are the options currently available to you. What would you like to do to address the problem in front of you?
Do we want to dock with Zugud? That might be better. I don't know. Like, just in terms of, is big ship better? I don't know. What do you guys think? I think, Mike, you can share what you said. And
yeah, Gurren Lagann style fusion. Let's dock.
yeah. Sorry, Nettle Shield, do you have a drill in the bottom of you? No.
Nettle Shield vociferously says they don't need to dock and they're doing just fine, and yet they're already being basically consumed by this kind of red, like, rib cage that is softly, in a friendly way, in the wraith equivalent of one wraith putting its arm, its arm around the shoulder of a smaller buddy wraith. Zugud has basically eaten Nettle Shield, and you are now in Zugud, who is beaming with joy at having connected finally with another member of the Meta Mothers faction, the faction that believes the Wraiths should join with Softies. And you tell it what to do. Zugud, on a 16, Zugud believes Richella is the smartest sapient in the cosmos that it can identify. So you are 19. Sorry, you are the Pope of the Meta Mothers faction to this 8-kilometer long planet destroying war machine. It's just doing whatever you tell it to do. I mean, Jesse, sorry, you can interpret this as Zugud, just explaining the mechanical results of that crazy check.
Yeah. No, what do you say, Richella?
It's great to meet you, Zugud. I'm glad to meet somebody else who can see sense in this crazy conflict. I don't think it's very productive, honestly. You do appear to still be shooting a lot of people, and that's understandable given the fear of destruction that we all have. But I do not know if that it. Well, I'm not sure I want to tell you to stop either. I choose to pass on judgment in this moment. Who can say truly what is right and what is wrong? But definitely we should work together.
So
back to being a bad therapist.
yeah, so like a wall sort of shimmers, and Zugud is like a little bit confused by your back and forth, maybe, or not confused, just sort of listening intently, but also continues to shoot because they say, well, I'm here to protect you, and I am so glad to meet some softies who actually know what we're doing. We're going to go protect you, and
yes, and we can protect each other. I'm sure there's many things that we can do for each other as peers, and good buddies.
So, what would you like to ask Zugud to do at this point? Because you need to, you have a limited amount of time as the nanite tsunami is nearing your position as you are heading towards it. Brought on by a kind of front of these wraiths that are currently engaged with each other. So you have some time to make a plan and enact it now, but you will need to decide now what you are going to do to stop or avoid or survive the oncoming wave.
Yeah, I guess I may even just say, Zugud, what can we do vis-a-vis not being destroyed by the wave of oncoming nanites? Do you think that if the nano mothers work together, maybe we can convince some of the neutral factions to come along, we might be able to weather this storm together? Is that within your sort of understanding? are you working? Are you connected together? Is that? Do you have any kind of functions regarding repelling?
Okay, so mechanically, all right, Zugud is basically offers to help, like, defend you, or kind of protect you, depending on what you want to do. You have called on this immensely powerful ship ridiculously successfully, and
Perhaps accidentally even.
perhaps it was a roll of the die, and they're again continuing to shoot because they kind of know what's going on, which is a very dangerous scene, as other wraiths are kind of attacking each other and threatening you. So
you may also want to communicate with your team what currently is going on and decide on a strategy together in order to use your new ally to your best advantage. So how do you want to do that?
Does our ether speak reach our friends at this distance?
It connects everybody, including
do you need more
Team
help
Vale.
back there? Like, if Rochella asks you guys if you need more help, because I don't think he knows that Consort is in grave danger, and that you guys might be in grave danger. But I think everyone else who's in the ship, Cecil and Mike, and Falling Brooch Gainer, are all aware. This conversation isn't happening mentally between me and Zugud. You can jump in here. As Rochella is clearly flailing, having been suddenly given the keys to a giant ship. Like, he's just like, I didn't know I was going to become Meta Mother Pope today.
You hear a conversation between sort of the echo of it. It's not being had directly with you. It's being had between two other people. You hear the voice of the combined Zeke Brewster person say, "Shall we?" And then the people who have been on Team Consort, that like the connection goes dead with them. You just lose them entirely.
Concerning.
What would the rest of the team like to do? Mike, Cecil, and Falling Brooch Gainer, you now have a large ship at your disposal. Rochella, I believe, has asked for some help deciding what exactly should be done with it. So what strategy would you like to take?
Well, Cecil was thinking of just a way to do a massive amount of damage to one of these ships. But then Rochella's plea of peace also reached him. So then he sort of, okay, maybe not shooting is a good idea. So now he's pretty much lost again because he knows how to do damage, but peace has to be learned.
Mike and Falling Brooch Gainer, what are you thinking in this moment?
Well, Mike's thinking, all right, we got something. We got another friend here. Oh, come on. Exalted Nestweaver. I know we got off on the wrong foot, but please, we need your help. Waitanity will need your help. I know I'm not a wait, but I know what it's like to yearn for home.
What are you asking for?
I guess I'm asking for how can Exalted Nestweaver port back and help form a plug, stop some of this wave. We gotta dam this up.
So If you'll recall, previously you convinced Exalted Nestweaver to stop being in the green ring, where you are now, and move half of her body. So now you're asking for her to come back.
Yeah, sorry to contradict myself, but I'll contradict the agreement with you, bud.
Roll charm.
Okay. This is charm. Won't go well. Oh. Yeah, no, that's a 2. Mike is Mike's getting a little crazy-eyed. Just maybe he shouldn't have taken all those thinky boost at once.
I just want to ask Falling Brooch Gainer, you're being used essentially as a walkie-talkie at this moment, but you've also put a lot into already in the last little while, in the last few hours. You have done and you have sacrificed a lot for Exalted Nestweaver's vision. What do you want her to do? How do you want to contribute to this situation?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we just need to survive. Since FBG can't keep the stiffworks open, it seems like the team is going to succeed probably in closing them. It just try to stay alive and build Watana here as much as possible. And I mean, they don't know the health sciences, but there's probably a lot of useful health science powers that are available to them that they could potentially use to survive, but that would be something they'd have to find out.
So I think you've had a little bit of contact already with the health sciences, and from having that touch of power pushed into and through you previously, you have a little bit of window into the kind of power that ENW has and the kinds of things that she can do. And she spent a long time here building herself and building her skills. There are many things that she knows how to do that no one else knows how to do because she taught them to herself. She learned and created pieces of the health science that isn't known anywhere else. So what do you want to ask her for? What do you want the ability to do?
I mean, sounds like they just need a big bubble that they can exist in when this wave crashes down on them. So something that can keep them alive for that to happen.
Okay, and how do you communicate that to Exalted Nestweaver, to your teammates? What does it look like, or what do you say in this moment?
Yeah, I think it's just in their head while they're just buzzed from eating so much. They're just like, just keep us alive. We can figure everything out later. Maybe some kind of barrier or bubble. Just keep us alive.
I think Exalted Nestweaver would require something of you here. A promise after this is done.
Whatever it is.
Okay. So I think she can add to what you're doing, but I want to make sure that everybody has in mind what they're doing in this moment. Because, again, you all convinced her to be further away. So it's a little bit more difficult.
We have a combination of options. We have you have a wraith at your disposal. You have an idea of the strengths and weaknesses of the wraiths and the oncoming wave, and you have the potential to draw on a massively powerful health scientist who might aid you or give you the ability to do something like protect yourselves. So which either which option would you like to go for, or how will you combine them into a single plan? Because I'm going to ask you in a moment what you do. And I would like each of you to contribute to the thing that you would like to do. So what is it that you would like to focus your energy on?
I'd like to try to convince the I think the bubble idea is kind of similar to what Rochella is thinking, in terms of just like, well, if we can just get the meta mothers to work together, maybe they can form some kind of barrier, not necessarily self-sacrifice, but just they can come together and use their abilities in such a way as to repel enough of this wave to survive, as opposed to being individually subsumed by it. Like that was his whole idea, like, kind of from the start, is like we have to work together as a whole or else be subsumed as individuals.
Okay, so you can build a bubble out of the wraiths and then potentially reinforce it or strengthen it or double it using the contribution or the hell sciences from Exalted Nestweaver. Is that what you're suggesting?
Working together, yeah. Working together and then working together even more.
Cecil, how are you feeling about this? Because there is an option for violence here if you want to take it. But what we are talking about is preservation and collaboration. How does Cecil feel about this, and what does he want to do to contribute?
Cecil's like, doesn't see it. Like 99.999% chance of just being completely crushed. And like, it could be satisfying to just first bring down one of these raids that are attacking, but satisfying for just a second is not worth it. So like, if we can just get through it somehow, it'd still be better than not getting through it, but just like overwhelmed with the lack of options as much as by the options.
Can you roll reason for me, Cecil?
Of course. I got an 8.
Okay. There are a couple of possibilities here based on what you have understood about the way that the wraiths interact. You can potentially get them to arrange themselves in the most optimal configuration where the internal politics and the strife that they might feel towards each other is minimized so that the potential barrier is at its most effective. You might also be able to help coordinate them to coordinate their weapons fire outwards to essentially burn off some of the incoming wave and help direct it around you. I would be happy with either one of those options, or if there's something else you would like to do instead. But those are some of the possibilities that occur to you as you were thinking through all of these different options and ways that you can construct something that you could use to live through.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'm gonna let you think about that for a second, if that's okay. And I'm going to ask each of you then to make an action. So what is it that you want to do? Cecil, I'm going to give you a moment because I just gave you some options to decide what you want to do with that. Mike, I'm going to start with you. And since you and Falling Breachgainer are both sort of in communion with Exalted Nestweaver in this moment and have some contact, a little bit more, a little less experience with the Hell Sciences. What is it that you want to do? How are you communicating or building this shield or bubble that you are thinking of? You're still muted.
Sorry, just have a few different options on my sheet I'm combing through. But Mike is sitting here. He's like, I don't know if I can reach her anymore. But Falling Rouge Gainer, if you can feel her in there still, think for our sake. And he's going to disengage from Falling Rouge Gainer and be ready to twin the sting and give everybody a little extra boost. We can't be moving in a straight line here. We have to double up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, just I guess mechanically, he's trying to help everyone do more. He's giving up his own active actions for just slinging out whatever he can.
Okay, so if it's all right with you, instead of an additional action, I'm just going to interpret that as a bonus to whatever roll the others make. Is that all right?
Definitely, because
Okay.
extra actions would.
How do we feel about just a free +3 to whatever they roll? Just a free boost. Looks like Wife has opinions about that based on his face, but I'm just going to carry on. All right, great. Okay, so based on what you've said, I'm in charge now. Based on what you've said, I want Rochella to decide what they are going to communicate to Zugud, because Zugud will listen to you and do what you want. Falling Rouge Gainer, whatever you want to ask of ENW, now is your chance. And Cecil, I want you to coordinate between Rochella, who is directing the Wraiths, and Falling Rouge Gainer, who is bringing in the Hell Science, and decide what the strategic focus of that bubble is and how you are going to bring them together. Let's start with Rochella. What direction are you giving to Zugud, and through it, the Meta Mothers and the Wraith faction that currently are listening to you?
Form up.
Okay.
We need to bring it in. Just using my action for a what is this, like a persuasion check for all the I'm like, please broadcast this. Form up. Like, okay. So I will roll.
You've got a free +3 on this from Mike. You're welcome to boost further or use another power if you would like to as well.
If I'm talking to war machines who are artificial intelligence, I'm adding +5 anyway. So let's look at what this D8 +8 gets me. A 12.
Okay.
A perfectly average outcome.
All right. Zugud, how does Zugud communicate to the rest of the Meta Mothers, and what does this look like as they start to form up?
So this sort of long ship sprouts kind of extra wing-like sort of, sorry, I'm very visual, like these kind of fish wings, you know, and gets into position, but already kind of was in position. So it's not like you have their attention. They're ready to do what you want, but maybe there are other Meta Mothers or Wraiths who could be persuaded to this faction elsewhere, that they're just like aren't any that aren't on your side, right? Like the Meta Mothers right now are on your side. There just aren't that many. So they're gonna see if they can ping anyone at your request, but we'll see if that happens. That's just kind of, you're in a battle with a bunch of wraiths that are kind of more mean than the Meta Mothers. Mostly.
Maybe I'll even offer this up to the room that I'm with. Are any of you guys particularly expert on the inner politics of war machines? Maybe you could help coordinate?
I read a pamphlet once, so I guess I.
All right. In that case, let's turn to Cecil. Cecil, how do you want to coordinate between the war machines, potentially recruiting more of them, and what do you want to direct them to do?
And as you pipe up, Cecil, Drum and Groan Renter sort of comes out of a reverie and is like, "Oh, I'm good at that." So they're going to help out too. What do you got for us, Cecil?
So what Cecil starts to do is basically play simultaneous political and physical Tetris with these war machines. And so he's communicating like a seating arrangement of how they could fit together in a shield pattern, while also avoiding like arguments in between the direct neighbors.
Yeah. So we're putting together this, just like sending out command, rapid fire, that basically amounts to like a dance notation, and all these wraiths start to move into position and form this like shield almost, or like a protective bubble to give us an escape route.
Okay. As the wraiths form up at your direction, Falling Brooch Gainer, what are you asking of Exalted Nestweaver? And this is just my preference. I'd love it if you worry a bit less about what specific powers are in the book, and I want you to just tell me, what is it that you want to happen? If you want to reach out to this sentience that is listening to you, what do you want to ask of her, and what do you want her to make for you?
Falling Brooch Gainer is, of course, a banshee, and they've spent a lot of time with technology and all of that. So, yeah, they're just reaching out to Exalted Nestweaver, looking at this potential Tetris pattern, and is just like, I'm committed to Watana. Just reinforcing this barrier here seems like all that needs to happen to make sure we get out of this alive. If you can help with that in any way.
Yeah, so Falling Brooch Gainer, Exalted Nestweaver wants to be more in your brain. If you're allowing that in order to do something.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to see your little Tetris pattern and create some lines that you can see in your mind, that she's seeing in her mind, among these ships, to do something. And you know, there's a feeling. She doesn't, I don't know if she doesn't say it with words exactly, but you know that you're going to be with her after this in a more significant way, but she's going to provide something for you. And as you look out among these warships, you see some sort of like blaze going on between them.
So you see perhaps something in the warping of light as the local physics of space-time change slightly as Exalted Nest Weaver extends some of her power through you to connect the wraiths that have assembled to create this bubble. And you feel it, you can watch it on the screen start to form around you, but Falling Bridge Gainer, you can feel it as if you are creating it yourself as you feel the connections take hold. As that bubble is forming, we're going to go back to the voidminers who are sinking into the core to see what becomes of them. So let's jump back to the baleful core. Wyeth, do you want to take over?
Yeah, I mean, you've entered this barrel of green astral plasma that doesn't give off heat and ionizing radiation the way that a star would, and after it, it's sort of muted to a white, apparently goo, so almost more physical looking as matter energy shifts, modulates in weird ways, and you've sunken in. At first, everything is totally bright. All of your sensors, any communication you have, just is whited out with signal, but harmlessly. Again, you don't suffer damage mechanically, and you then are in a small dark room, and sort of the reverse. So it sort of goes from totally bright to just darkness, and slowly any running lights on your suits click back on, and you are able to sort of communicate normally here in this space. There is no Atmo. There would be no need of Atmo if you were the Hichi, whatever they are, or were, or will be. And you are not able to communicate via ether speak anymore. So your last thoughts, those last exchanges of thought with the other team, are cut off because you're now in a higher dimensional space. You've been folded up into Planck scale, and you are effectively in a space that is the neutral control space. You are in the terminal mode of the Baleful Core. You are inside of it. And the Baleful Core is just kind of wondering what your next request is. How can it help you? And Jesse, I think at this point you and I can just feel this out. What does the Baleful Core sound like? But yeah, Voidminers, what do you do?
So I think Hal, sort of in this space, how are the Voidminers experiencing the Baleful Core? What's the sort of, what is there, like a kind of mental link still, or are we communicating?
What do you imagine, you speaking for your character, what does Hal imagine the people who made NARM and presumably Spindle to be like?
Hal imagines them as extra dimensional beings and has no concept of how to place them in threespace.
Then you feel behind you a kind of shadow, and the shadow can speak pleasantly. It sounds like many, many people at once, and there is some tinge of informaticity, like you know that this is another created being. You are speaking to a sort of informatic shadow, and not to a biological being, and not to a being at all, but a complex group of beings who are trying to present a clear, united voice to help. They would not think of you as lesser, but as more simple in design, right? A single intelligence, as opposed to a multiplicity of intelligences distributed across a structure that is light years long. So you can't see them, but you can sort of hear them in your voice, in your head, as many voices. For everyone, I would ask the same question. However you are picturing these beings, that is how they are sort of appearing, but their voice is polyphonic, and it is pleasant, and it is vaguely machinic. It is signaling to you that it is a tool. So it is using a kind of skeuomorph in your head, so to let you know, hey, I'm just a friendly, like, it's kind of like a really, really fancy Japanese toilet that can do various things for you, and it just wants to help.
As we start to get our bearings here, the person who accompanies you, you feel that sort of tuning into a radio station again, that second mind in your own mind. They're using ether speak again to connect you. So those of us who are here inside the Baleful Core, and they are, you can immediately, and this is, previously it felt a little bit like walkie-talkies. This feels a little bit more like being in someone's head. They are working hard to connect your minds in a way that will allow you to better understand the multiplicity of intelligences that you are trying to speak to. And you are also seeing a bit into their head, and you see these sort of flashes of red at the corner of your vision. You're getting a little bit of what's left of the cybernetic informatic shadow of Rooster, still doing the maths and still screaming as she is still trying to reconstitute herself in some way. You also get a bit of who Zeke was and isn't anymore. It's not that they've died, they've just become a different person. They're not that person anymore. But you also beyond that get this sense of sort of a vastness, not vast in the sense that NARM is vast, but you see a planet covered in some kind of ocean with two stars in the distance, a red and a blue star. And you get this sense that you are connected to each other and that your minds are a bit more in sync and a bit more immediately connected than they have been before. And this new person, who hasn't yet chosen a name for themselves, says, I just thought this might help, but this is our chance. This is what we've been working for. And they give you this picture of what Rooster was trying to accomplish, which is to stop the whatever horror she imagined coming down the tube, the straw of NARM, to destroy the Godown and to destroy civilization or to destroy anything. There were lots of mathematical calculations about it, but she was never very clear. You've seen the horror now for yourself, and this is your opportunity to put a stop to it here. So they are spending their, like, working proactively to keep you in sync and give you a boost to present your case to the Baleful Core, which is listening. So what would you like to say to the Baleful Core, and what would you like to ask it to do?
So I think Hal would say, of course, we are in quite a rush here, but manners are very, very important, and I do think we should respect our elders. So, Beulah, would you like to make your case?
I don't understand much of what is going on, obviously. I was not prepared to be here. But I see many very good-willed people around me who strive to do what is good. And what actually seems to be good is to close the door, essentially. Look at that person who's not that young, maybe Rooster, whatever your name was. It appears that the folds you're made of are very agitated, but in a very good way, in a way that should show you, door person, that you should close, because look at them. They are all you see the edge of their body, and you see the edge of the body of my friend Horse here, who is also very much pressed for the matter. So trust what you have to do. You know that what is out there, and I gesture generally in whatever is outside, is so much worse than the life that you've experienced so far. So please do the right thing and listen to us, because we come here as friends, and that's what you wanted at the beginning. That's how you started up this conversation, right? We're friends. We're all friends. And that creature out there, that thing, I don't know what it is, but it's not friendly.
Jesse, can we respond as the Baleful Core?
Yes.
Friends travel.
I see age and technology.
Unfriends also travel.
Often quickly.
Or not. Everyone travels.
Fourth and coming.
So, obviously.
Are you helpers?
We're very much here to do good for everything around, I think.
I think you also get the sense everyone who's here hears this. It's a response to what everyone's done and said.
Yeah, I think the Baleful Core doesn't necessarily view you all. It's not sure how separate your intelligences are or how it would make sense of such an idea. So it is speaking generally to all of you. You've all used collectively, it's like accepted that you all have the key to enter terminal mode. So now it is asking for programming that makes sense to it, and it doesn't quite understand. You get the sense what you're asking it to do.
So Hal can I say, as my very esteemed colleague put forward so eloquently, thank you very much. We need to shut the fucking door. We need to shut the door now. Unfriend will get out. Close door immediately. Execute now. And is sort of, getting very agitated.
These things happen time and again.
Time after time.
Will it help?
All part of the experience. Growth. Unfriends are friends. All things are circles. All things can join.
We've seen the cubes.
Everyone's seen the cubes. Harry, do you want to give us? Do you and Laura want to maybe combo give us a check here to convince the Baleful Core that there is a imminent threat that is not something that will help humanity survive the long eons toward the eventual rise of the Heechee at the end of time?
I'd love to. I have empathize. I'll burn 3, roll the d8. That's a 6. 6 plus 3 plus 5, whatever that is. 6 plus 8, 14.
Plus 1, assuming Beulah's helping, right, Laura? Unless Beulah's
Oh, yeah.
actively just being confusing Gelasti Grammaire. That's a 15. So again, these are off the charts, high level successes. Jesse, do you want to respond as you consider Hal's arguments?
As we consider how.
As we, sorry. Oh, cubes.
So you kind of get Hal's arguments are like all fine and dandy, but you see in your mind the Heechee seeing, or the Baleful Core seeing through you, and the dangers on the one hand and on the other, left and right, and what will ultimately help. They may not have like trusted you at first, or not. They wanted you to be friends. They were like, friends, tell us about it. But they've seen the danger from what you've seen, and so they're going to help. And you get this sense, especially you, Hal, of this but strange humming, buzzing, as they like make this agreement.
Yeah, and Laura, did you want to go ahead and try to use the fact that you are emergently able to bend, quantum physics with your mind to show the Baleful Core a little more of what Hal is describing logically extremely well?
I think I can try and impart visions, but really what I want to do, apart from this, which would not be really seduction, would be to gently press onto some minds that it is indeed very important, and that we can go a way that will be beneficial to the Baleful Core and to us as a whole group. So I think mentally I will transcend images of what we've seen and of how Consort talked to us, how the basically the end of NARM was to me, even though I saw so little of it. And yeah, I will try and send that over to the core. Can I do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned, so you typed in the chat, you're thinking of
Yeah,
a specific
I
Hell
want to.
Science power. So I think that would make sense here to try to connect across the gulf of sort of biological and machine and millions of years of technological evolution and your ability to kind of voice your argument reasonably in a relatively short period of time.
Yeah, I will curve the hand towards closing the door by pouring honey. Basically, I think I only need to burn 4 grit for that power to work.
Yeah, this is just communicating. Yeah, you're just kind of opening up your mind.
Me telling friends, let's remain friends. If we don't do that, then we're toast, as my horseman said. And I show everything that we've seen so far.
Yeah, you're showing that out of higher dimensions come the self-replicating wave, the meat wave of the Duke of the Red Pyramid, unborn, in fact, killed in all meaningful sense, but just remaking over and over again their body, unable to control in their undeath, essentially, what will become as they re-enter threespace and head toward the Baleful Core or any stiffworks. All stiffworks here can be avenues for them to eventually reach Spindle, go back to Terra, restart the Shardcaster network, reach all of the worlds once touched by Tephnian hegemony, and turn them into essentially disgusting blobs of rusted meat. As Rooster was afflicted with that disease, right, that slowly turned her to sort of a horrible stone red sculpture. While this is happening, any last thoughts from the Veil? This is how you are successfully convincing the Baleful Core to not just turn itself off, but use its abilities to very intricately control how time and space sort of work locally here to shut down all stiffworks, to prevent stiffworks from working in NARM. While this is happening, last thoughts from either Jesse, Harry, or Laura before we sort of move on from this success.
So I don't know if it's for now or if we pick it up later, but what Hal would like to do would be to tell the Baleful Core to allow Grandma out first, and that Hal would then intend to remain.
Can you say a little bit more about that?
So Hal is feeling the energy here, the radiation, and it's too much for Hal's kind of processing and power. It's overloading. Hal would sort of be proposing a merger of sorts to join the Baleful Core, to spill the algae, the energy, this radiotrophic algae into the Baleful Core, and to join with the core for whatever it may become next, and to allow the other void miners out before this happens. So that's
Love
the
this.
pitch.
I think the Baleful Core doesn't even understand why this wouldn't be the norm. Everyone should just be merged with everyone. That is the default state. And so you don't experience this as anything like a death. This is much closer to an apotheosis. And the term that you might have heard whispered in the archive is joining the river. And this is the idea of what the Hichi ultimately did and how they became not a species of advanced aliens, but a sort of aspect of the cosmos. So maybe we can come back at the end, Harry, to sort of Hal and where Hal ends up at the end of this venture. That actually brings up what happens to the others. So in terms of player characters, Laura, I think your new Beulah, the Gelasti grandmother, is the last player character to witness this. Do you leave safely the Baleful Core?
I think I do. Can I grab one little piece of weird horse before I leave as a keepsake?
Up to Harry.
Of course, you can grab what you like, algae, the watch, the horse, whatever. It's being merged in. And actually, I was just going to say, before leaving the other player characters, Hal was going to burn 7 grit for a permanent hoodwink to say, I'm not afraid. And then also you burn 5 grit to use command to tell Grandma to go home to Darasan safely.
You incept yourself, you're not afraid. You command Beulah, you're basically Mouse, like in company terms, this like stowaway who happens to be a psychic badass, to leave safely. And Laura, Beulah is now on the outside of the Baleful Core, which is still slowly spinning, but there is no fire, there is no plasma. The whole thing is just an empty asteroid. It's just an empty black stone barrel. And all around you is what looks like blood, sort of jelly beans, reniform shapes of just jiggling gray integument as the wraiths have all torn each other apart, other than this massive wraith that is settling right now on the core, that is 200 meters tall, this sort of white and orange and bloody being who has got Consort sort of slowly ripped apart, but also Consort is sort of threading through it, merging with it as it kills her. And you are underneath them. They are arched over you, and it does not see you at all. As you think in your head, I have one job, which is to get back to my grand elvers on Darasan. Cut to the other team.
I was going to ask, can I just take a brief moment as we like zoom out before we cut to the other team? We see this, towering wraith over teeny tiny Beulah on the outside of the Baleful Core, and we zoom out and we keep zooming out and we see the entirety of the opening of NARM and the wave of red nanites that used to be the Red Duke and are still animated by whatever whatever belief that the Red Duke was carrying him to assimilate everything, boil out, and it looks like the side of a tilted pot with all of the foamy red nanites boiling over. And then we cut to the interior of Nettle Shield.
Team Nettleshield, you are watching the last constellations of the wraiths forming and the lines between them starting to coalesce into a shield that can protect you from this boiling over of nanites. And in that moment, what Nettleshield alerts you to is that Consort has been ripped apart and the last voidminers are now stranded at the Baleful Core. What would you like to do about that, if anything?
Can we scoot this thing back and go pick them up, or do we need to send something out to go pick them up?
What a great question.
You can go pick them up. You are in a very fast, powerful war machine.
Yeah, relativistic speeds, we just go shoop. Now what happens when that we encounter, are we going to have a kaiju battle on our hands is the question.
What I'd like you to do, I'm going to let you choose what to roll in this moment. I believe, well, we'll come back to Mike in a second, but I know what you're going to do. I can see it on your face. I'm going to ask Rachella, Cecil, and Falling Brooch Gainer just to roll, because what I assume you want to do is move Zugud and without ruining the integrity of the shield that you have very carefully built. So you need to coordinate the movement of the entire bubble around the sword wraith that you are currently inhabiting. And so I'd like all three of you, each focusing on a different part of this. Rachella, I assume, communicating with the Wraith, Falling Brooch Gainer maintaining the Hellscion shield, and Cecil monitoring the placement of the Wraiths and coordinating between them. So I'd like you to tell me very briefly what it is that you are doing to kind of what you're engaging in, and then I'll ask you to roll. Cecil, do you want to start?
Yeah. So basically, we want to keep the sheep in the shield intact while moving at incredible speeds. It's like, yeah, you know how a flock of birds moves without bumping into each other, but we want to do that, but without any gaps. But yeah, okay, I'm human. I can't coordinate that. The ships need to coordinate that. So what's left to do is basically very quickly settling minor disputes about between the ships. So that's what Cecil is trying to do to keep everything coordinated, because they need to coordinate their positioning exactly themselves. So all that's left is settling some minor squabbles while everything's going on.
To do that, would you like to roll reason or charm?
Yeah. While I was talking, I realized, wait, that sounds like a charm roll, which is my worst die.
I'll let you choose, because reason also makes sense here in terms of using what you have learned about them in order to talk them into getting along.
I am motivated to accept that reasoning. So this is like standard difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I'll still burn 9, because if I don't burn it now, when the hell will I?
Well, exactly.
Almost a 1, but not quite.
Don't do this to me.
Rolled a 2, +4, +9, but it was a 1.
Okay.
Okay, so for 5, 15.
Okay.
Right.
You I think as you are really using your brain for this, coordinating with the ships, you see some of them start to get close to each other. You see the chatter start to heat up again, and you're able to balance them out. And you have that picture. Has Cecil ever seen a murmuration of starlings?
On TV, probably.
On TV. You see that kind of flash of all of these individual creatures moving together, it's somehow coordinated in harmony, and you get a sense that that's happening inside you as well, because you have nanites inside you that coordinate like a flock together to synchronize and to create without interfering with each other. And kind of drawing on that, you are able to smooth out the movement of the shield. Falling Brooch Gainer, what are you up to?
Yeah, just they're gonna just keep in contact with Exalted Nest Weaver and try to keep that one central point that is reinforcing this whole shield intact, and just they view it as sort of like a load-bearing pillar that they just need to constantly keep concentrated on to stay there, and that's what they're doing.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead, Jesse.
you get a message or a sense from your feeling of it being a load-bearing pillar that Exalted Nestweaver is gonna do this for now, but once things go to shit, she's going to let them all be destroyed.
As you get that sense from her, you feel something like your chitin cracking. It's as if the back of your head has split open, and it's like you've been listening to something on low volume, and suddenly the barriers are broken down, and it all just pours into your head. You now have a level of snakehead, and you have the free Hell Science power wall off. As you suddenly are given a portion of of a very small portion, a droplet of Exalted Nestweaver's power that immediately connects you with something beyond the universe that you have experienced previously. Richella, what would you like to say to Zugud?
We have some. We need to go pick up some very important fleshies back there, irreplaceable allies. So we are going to need to move this formation back a bit. I do believe there are there's 3 or 4 of our good buddies back there still. So we need to just scoot it back. We can and I don't know if I'm making like a reason, or if I need to make like a reason check to convince the armada that, like, yeah, we should all, these guys indispensable, or if I need to like make a like charm check to be like.
So I'd like you to make a charm roll, but you're charming Zugud, who thinks that you're great. So
Am I not?
I'm going to give you advantage on this roll because this wraith believes that you know what's best.
Okay. D8 plus D8, and that'll be I'm rolling 2D8. Take the higher. I don't know how to write that in dice parser, but I'm just gonna tell you what it is. And I got some grit, so I'm gonna add 3 to it. So I can't possibly mess this up. So I'm D8 plus D8 again, and 6 is the highest. 6 plus 8 is 14. So a 14 charm check. Does it work?
Let's ask Mike. Mike, you're the last one. You can see your 3 teammates coordinating between each other. What would you like to do to finish off this movement to protect your teammates, or what else would you like to do here?
Let's see. I think I believe I had a hold left over from last time for looking into protecting everyone, and I think to just sort of help guarantee that, Mike is going to. This might be a little much, but just the fact that they're still Aether Speak connected. Mm-hmm. Just try to. He's gonna try calling out to the rest of the team, letting them know we're on our way. Don't wait. Don't worry. We'll make it. And let's see. Actually, I'm not exactly sure of any powers I can use, but I will burn one of my oddments to try sort of. I'm going to pull out the yummy impossible shell and try blowing on it like a conch.
Okay. All right. So you sound the horn as you move your enormous, like many kilometers wide, bubble of wraiths working together, strengthened by the hell sciences, like back away from the opening of NARM along the braid to encase the now dark baleful core, and the two people now standing on it. I think as you reach out via Etherspeak, you notice that one of the minds that was present there before is no longer present there, or not perhaps in the same way, maybe connected, but connected to something much vaster than you previously had understood them to be connected to. Wythe, would you like to take over at this point?
Yeah, I mean, so we're all back in one location. Zugud travels very quickly away from the warring factions, which are all also not fighting each other because the center gravity, the center mass rather of the Duke of the Red Pyramid's body of nanites devolving out of higher dimensional space into threespace, into visibility, is upon us. There is essentially a meat wave filling NARM and wrecking things in its path that are not protected, either by Exalted Nestweaver, by a powerful wraith, or by some other force. Picture very far deep in an arm a group of void elves within reconstituted Aegis of Vard tumbling through this sort of horrible mix of nanites and basically blood. You all are at the baleful core at the end as they're spilling out into space, unable to find any stiffworks. You've shut down all of the ways by which these pre-programmed, absolutely obsessive, oppressive war machines distributed now across millions of miles of space in this tiny thin line, are seeking some means to return to Terra, to return to the worlds of the Shardcaster network of Late Tephnian hegemony, and all they are able to do is spill out forever in the void, in the middle of nowhere. It doesn't really matter how fast they traveled. Even if they traveled the speed of light, they are nowhere near Terra. It would take them essentially infinity. They don't know where to go, and they are just tumbling into a net beyond you. All of you are pushed forward in this rush, shielded by something or another. The partisans of the Neo-Red Pyramid, the wraiths who decided this is a good thing, they would call themselves, in some translation, the Future Bringers, are unharmed. And indeed, the massive being at the baleful core who has come here to destroy the Godown, destroy Consort and Nettleshield, who holds Consort ripped apart in his hands, is essentially unharmed as the wall of nanites, the wave, breaks around him, the tsunami. Zugud is on the other side, shielded, picking up first Beulah and then Akilv and the artist formerly known as Zeke and or Rooster, who were racing around. They were sort of ejected from different ends of the core. All of you are together on Zugud, or on Nettleshield inside Zugud, and on the opposite side of you, on this basically asteroid-shaped black stone barrel, you see the impossibly tall Hanba, the evil father, one of these powerful Late Tephnian partisans of the Red Pyramid, is consuming Consort, and Consort is broadcasting on all channels. It is right. It is good. Do not be afraid. We will merge. I will give up myself, and my meta mothers will make the future bringers less myopic in their gaze upon the future and what humanity and the products of humanity, the daughters of humanity, could one day achieve. And she's broadcasting this message of peace as she's basically merging into the being of Hanba. And all of you need to go somewhere because you are in the middle of nowhere and are under attack by the forces, the passive environmental destruction of the fragments of the Duke of the Red Pyramid, whose mind is now scattered across trillions upon trillions, uncountable numbers of nanomachines. There are now regions of him, almost as if for a hex crawl, with different intents and different memories and different ways of being toward others. There are also now many wraiths of different factions scattered. There are void elves scattered, and there are the Waitenoids following Exalted Nestweaver, their prophetess, gigantic and not omniscient but extremely powerful, scattered throughout NARM. NARM has been remade by this event. You all have survived. You have shut down your only means home you have no way to leave, but you do have a ship that will take you where you want to go. You actually have two, it turns out. And with that, we will have to end this particular stream and this version of the campaign, but with the idea that we will return soon with a new campaign exploring what you all choose to do, you and all the other void miners who you'll pick up for narrative convenience. You can pick them up in between along the way. And you are now on a sort of odyssey through not a empty, dark stone straw that is many unknown light years long, but one filled with horrible self-replicating rust meat. So if that sounds like fun to you, then, come join us on the server, tune back in. Before we go, any parting thoughts? I feel like there may be a few key other things we wanted to cover. I know we're a little over time, but if folks can hang on, of course, I'd be happy for everyone to get a last chance to kind of weigh in on where your void miner is at in this moment as you're speeding very quickly away from the powerful wraith who wants to destroy you and into the unknown. And maybe we start with just to keep it moving, if we want to just call on folks. Ryan, does Drumming Ground Renter, the hapless middle management who goes back and forth, or did go back and forth between NARM and Spindle to figure out what the company would allocate resource-wise to the Godown, which is now been ripped apart. What is your thought, since you're technically in charge, but have been cowering inside Nettle Shield, unable to help that much during this firefight?
Yeah, so just trying to like process having come back to NARM at exactly the wrong moment. What is my lot in life now? The routine is broken. I used to spend a week on Spindle and have a bunch of meetings and then come back to the Godown and live here and give out jobs and, compile my next report. And that was it. But then decades ago, I was one of these adventurers as the company started to explore whether the idea of exploring NARM would be profitable after the Tackquake ended some maybe 20 years ago or so. So it's been all of these like fragments of memory of like maybe it would be exciting to like do the exploring, but obviously it's horrifyingly much more like imminently dangerous than it was like this dead space when I started. But like, guess I don't have a choice, so maybe I'll just make the most of it. Maybe this is going to be exciting. This is going to be a great time. Who else in the universe gets the opportunity to dive through cities made of meat and see what this horrifying the Hellstraw has to offer? So Drumming Ground Renter is choosing optimism.
Nice.
Should we go like popcorn? And
let's just popcorn really quick. Last
cool.
thoughts.
Well, Laura's right next to me. So what about Beulah?
I was told in no light terms to go back to Darasan. Well, I'm a little tired. I'm going to try and do that as soon as I can. My real motivation is to kind of survive / bask in the sun / go back to my family because they'll know what to do. But I grabbed, I don't think I had time to say that before. I grabbed algae from Hal's oozing body because I thought it would be nice like to have a little garden of algae in Darasan. I'm sure that they'll have a pond somewhere. But right now I just want to survive, so I'm going to hold on to Rooster Zeke for comfort / safety because they seem very able, and I'll just go back to Darasan since I've been commanded to do so.
Very briefly, they will just have Beulah on their arm so that she has someone to hold on to. And with their other hand, they are strapping on a wristwatch that is broken. Let's go to Falling Brooch Gainer.
Yeah, Falling Brooch Gainer has made a lot of promises to Exalted Nestweaver to achieve the things that they did just now, and they're just intent on keeping them and exploring as much of this new NARM as possible to make sure that happens.
Do you want to pass it to somebody else? If you're,
I'll pass it to Cecil, I guess, right next to me.
Cecil is very motivated to get the hell out of NARM and to retire to the famed holiday planet of Solaris. And look to Rochella.
Yeah, Rochella's just like taking a breath. He's looking more tired than he's looked in a while. Like, okay, well, got through that. Thank you, Zoo Good. Just like pats on the side of the or he's like, oh wait, that is Nettleshield. Thank you, Nettleshield. Also, everyone, wonderful work, team. We are all in this together. Now, Voyagers on this impossible journey. Thank you all around. Yes, Zoo Good. Are you capable of creating gentle beams of ultraviolet light, approximately the intensity of a sun from a Goldilocks planet? Because that would be good. Because I am real pooped. I'm just gonna sit down. Oh boy. that's all he has to say. And Mike, the last player character who hasn't spoken, please.
Mike is considering the possibilities laid out before them. They have this endless structure now filled with life of a sort. He knows he has no way home, but home is still somewhere out there. So there's a bittersweet quality to that. And he considers, much like he's become home to something else, maybe this can be his new home. As he looks down at his arm, waving around without his input.
Great. Any last thoughts, GMs, or should we wrap up here? And this will not be the end of NARM, but it is the end of our epic journey with the Godown.
Well, I think maybe Jennifer's going to say the same thing. I was just going to say we've seen all of the surviving player characters, but I'd love to know how Hal is feeling as like joined with the builders of NARM, or the voice of the Baleful Core.
So Hal sort of sinking and soaking into the core of NARM, the Baleful Core, sort of the intense, frantic, manic energy that had just been building and escalating since sort of the conflict and the radiation spikes is sort of dissipating, diffusing, links are forming, and quite unlike a lot of the other players, Hal finally feels like perhaps he has found home. There are some familiarities in these connections. Hal never knew his origins or where he might have actually come from, and perhaps Hal's actual origins have some link with the Heechee, the architecture that sort of brought this place together, and Hal finally feels like he is home, and he sort of can breathe, well, not literally, relax, and form a part of where he feels he's supposed to be.
Excellent. Well, with that, why don't we imagine Hal rushing off into this sort of web of light across all of time and space, connected by by fine scale manipulation of the facts of loop quantum gravity that we can't begin to understand, while a tube of black stone is filled with horrible self-replicating meat, while a crew of intrepid void miners is blasting through it, listening to maybe some music, beaming some UV beams if they are photobionts, etc. While back on Darasan in the lake, where Beulah once took the Grand Elvers, a very confused half-kilometer long Late Tephnian orbital weapons platform shaped sort of like a flat arrow-headed planarian worm shoots out into the sky, firing lasers at nothing, and screams in Late Tephnian, "What the?" And then we cut. And this has been NARM 1.0. We'll restart with NARM 2.0 thanks to all our amazing players and GMs. We did it, guys. We blew up a lot of the NPCs and locations that we spent a bunch of time establishing, so gotta love that. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in, and if you enjoy Stillfleet or just are really confused and intrigued, either way, you can check out everything we do at stillfleet.com or join the Discord. Join us for some games. We'll be playing more of them. Any last important shouts, or are we good to close down the stream? But players, please don't go anywhere. We just want to say thanks again, off cam. We're good? Okay, I'm going to click the red button. Thanks again, anyone who's watching now or in the future.